Hi, and welcome to the Ada K Show. I am Ada K. Brown, and am currently a criminal justice major, and I'm a deaf courtroom commentator. Grab a cup of Java, and let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Do we have sound? I think. Okay, why don't I have sound? I hope y'all are doing well. Sorry, I am late, but I have a good reason. I'm never late. And, oh, there I am. I have a very good reason. We had an accident right outside the shop, and I was being first responder. I'll show you pictures. It was bad. But in the meantime, let me see what's going on with the trial. Okay, it says we've got 30 minutes till they go live. Good. That gives me time to explain to you guys what had happened. Oh, welcome, everybody. Good to see y'all here today. Please give me a minute to catch my breath. I literally just came in. I had to run a block down the street, half a block. It's right outside of my studio, and I had to run. And I'm a little frazzled, but we'll get there. I got to finish setting. I was setting up in here when it happened, and it was so bad that I felt it, and I thought I could hear something. Oh, whew. Okay. Give me a second. And of course, someone took pictures with my butt hanging out. All right, here. Let me share screen. Let me see if I do this, what it will do. Okay, that is the vehicle. The pickup truck rear end bumped off of a police officer, so kind of side nicked and then bounced off and ran into that person, and that's the bank right across our driveway. They were trying to load this vehicle up onto a pickup truck, a flatbed tow truck, but they are permanently together. They're trying to separate it now, and I'm here. Here's my big lard butt. My lard butt. I don't look very pretty, do I? And there's my lard butt again. I'm securing C-spine. I'm testing his back, feeling around, palpating, trying to see, checking his cognitive levels. What day is it? Who's the president? What's your name? Mom's name? I'm doing all that, just trying to keep him calm. The poor guy was extremely claustrophobic, and it was very difficult. I actually had to put my body weight on the door to keep him from bolting. But luckily, he stayed long enough for EMS to get there and to ascertain if he was safe to be extracted. So this is what I need to my adrenaline gets going because I ran. Um, let me see if you could any see this little thing above the truck? It looks like a top of a building. It's uphill. This is our office right there. And you see the sign right there. So I had to run across and run up this hill to get to the accident scene. I'm gonna check Facebook and see, because you know how Facebook, if everybody puts their crap on Facebook. Uh, see if anything's on Facebook. Here comes another fire truck. They're having to try to separate these two vehicles to get them on a flatbed. I'm Googling Kerrville and see what pops up. Um, Kerrville Live. Breaking news. Let's see if that's it. It goes in there and see if they have anything. Nope. Someone said it was on Facebook, so I was like, Kerrville what? Nope. Oh, no. Okay, that was something different. So, anyway, he is stable. He was able to walk. Um, definitely gonna hurt tomorrow. Um, the back seat was totally broken off, and, yeah, it's yeah. So, but luckily for him, he is, at this point, does not appear to have any major injuries, although with adrenaline, you never know. They're gonna probably take him, of course, and get him x-rayed and do all that wonderful stuff. But thank God that he's alive. Thank God he is not worse. Well, now you get to see how fat I really am. Actually, that's not a fair shot. I'm not a little woman anymore, but I'm getting littler. I've lost 30 pounds. But yeah, not the best picture of my butt. But I'm glad we could help. My goal was keeping him in that car, because if he got out and something happened, I would not want to be responsible. Yeah, not me needing help. Well, some people like big butts. So, speaking of butts, our Sementilli trial wannabe 49-year-old wannabe porn star enjoyed taking pictures of her butt. I cannot believe how descriptive they've got in um in this trial over her photographs. I mean, we're talking intimate pictures that only doctors should see upon a colonoscopy type intimate pictures. Mm. But I just fixed me my pot of coffee for the day. But thank you, Jesus, that he's okay. The person in the trunk in the truck walked away. Here, let me put it back over here. The perfect person in that truck walked away. Of course, they're doing the DUI test and everything else, and I'm sure they're gonna get a blood test on him and do whatever they need to do. But um, when I have been driving, I'll share this. I have a dear friend. She's passed away, and she'd be 90 right now, but she passed away at 78. And she was a matron of honor in my wedding, and she came down for the wedding, and we were driving, and I let her drive my car,
and this guy was riding her tail. Now she's from California, nothing against California folks, I used to live there, and she yelled, "I don't feel like being" hold on, I gotta do this, hold on. "I I don't feel like being butt get off of my ass." And I looked at her, I mean, she's just the sweetest little old lady, and she said that, and I was like, "Well, that's one of those moments." That car got BF'd. BF'd for sure. That's horrible. Um, I was watching the Ellen Gilland sentencing hearing when this had happened. I don't know what she got. I'm disappointed. That poor okay, they're still testifying. Lady, oh my gosh, she unalived her husband because he was not being cared for and he wanted to go, and she went into the facility with a weapon and shot him right there. And she's like 80, 90 years old. I don't know, she's not 90, but she's probably 80. I'm looking at that car thinking, "Holy" and he hit somebody because you could see the front of his oh, he hit the grass. That's the interesting thing. There is a half a football field length skid mark on the road before it turned into the grass, and then the front of that car dug in the grass and went up the hill. So that guy was it was bad. It wasn't good. So I'm going to sidebar that. Wow, I gotta send these to my partner in crime. I gotta send these to my partner in crime. Let me see. Yeah, this just happened in front of the shop, and of course, they got my hiney in the picture. Um, so anyway, you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. So I can't remember I never remember names, and I wouldn't give it anyway, but if there's a license plate number, I wouldn't be showing this. But that said, oh, that's so not good. Oh, bueno. So now we're on the Monica Sementilli trial, and in this trial, we are still hearing from we are still hearing from, trying to there we go, till they change it. Uh, from the prosecution side, we've not even hit the defense side, and we are in day 20. So hopefully they're gonna end this. I'm waiting for the persons who did the unaliving to testify. I don't know if they will, but it would be fun. Yana, welcome this morning. Thank you. I've been talking to you. I didn't acknowledge you. Oh, sunny day. Welcome, Dave. Everybody, welcome, welcome. Thank you. I got to do the giveaway thing. It's okay. I learned it. We'll catch you. Don't need to redo it. We're all good. Boy, that's a very fun way to start your morning. Um, thank you to our police, firefighters, EMS, job well done. Thank you to the officer, I'm not gonna say your name, who came over and helped me. Um, the gentleman wanted to get out of the car, and I asked an officer to come and talk to him, because sometimes when you're in a panic situation like that, having a different person talking to you, changing the tone, changing the person, changing the voice will help. Yes, we are in day 20 of this trial. Sensei, mama's okay. She's sensing my energy and she's right at my feet. Can make me I'm super claustrophobic too, so I would be wanting to get out. Hello, Miss June. Howdy. So, everybody, thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, I'm getting me some wubbing. You giving me loving. All right, lay down. So,
Yesterday was a very telltale day, very graphic commentary. It was graphic. The description of the pictures, I couldn't bleep it out enough, so that's where it is. Let me look and see. Let's see if they demonetized me. I'm always interested to see what they permit and don't permit. You guys, I am 2 away from having 2,800 subscribers. I would please I wanted to hit 3,000 by the end of the month. It doesn't look like I'm gonna happen, but please. Oh, they did not. They didn't demonetize me for all that stuff? Wow. Whoa. I'm shocked. Shocker. Usually, they demonetize you for that stuff, so thank you for not demonetizing me for things I cannot control. That is nice. My bangs are all kinda going wacko now. So, um, she Monica was sending love letters to the boyfriend in another jail, okay? To the boyfriend in another jail, and she was using another inmate's, CID number in that process, and which is majorly no-no, and they were copying all of her mail, and they will do that, so they were monitoring her mail that was sent to him. The only way they got that information was when they tossed his cell on a cell toss, they found that information. My camera angles started wonking on me, so I need to get it back up because it's wanting to there we go. The camera was wanting to move, but although that's not the best of angles. Go. Trying to get where it needs to be. There it is, I think. It won't stay, that's the problem, it's creeping. Maybe tighten it, move it. There we go. There it is. So anyway, Sensei, I need you to move. You can't. Sorry, babe. So she gets right underneath here, and there's not a lot of room. It's only, it's not even a 2-foot desk. It's very short. Morning, see Miss Morales. You missed the show. I'll go ahead and show y'all. This is what I was dealing with this, and I'm not the victim. I was helping out. I was late because of oh, wrong angle. Well, there's a good picture of my studio. There's my studio. So this happened right outside our business, literally. Um, and there is I in butt and all glory. And there is I some more. But everybody walked away. The bad news for this driver of this truck is he hit a police officer as well. I don't know if there was any damage to the police officer, but there had to be something because he bounced off of him and then rear-ended this guy and drove him up a hill, over a curb and sidewalk and up a hill. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Isn't it fun? So, I'm looking at these pictures thinking, "Boy, that 30 pounds off didn't do much for me." Dang it. I came back here, my adrenaline, yes, is still running. I apologize. It's gonna run for a little longer, and then I'm gonna get real tired. I'm gonna warn you because whenever you do anything like that and you're like, I was just putting on makeup, I was just getting glorified for y'all, glamified for y'all. I had brewed my cup of coffee. It was an easy morning, and then all of a sudden, that happened, and I could hear it very mildly. I have my hearing aids in, but I could feel I felt this boom, and, it sounded almost like a gas leak, like something went pop and and I thought, "Oh my gosh, Matt, did something a water main something bust in the kitchen, a water pipe or something?" Kitchen's right outside my door. And he goes, "I think it was a wreck." And I looked out the front window and I went, "Oh, shit." And of course, I started running. And this girl has no ACLs and I'm running. Not fast, but I'm running, going up that hill. So you can see the hill and ooh. So thank you, Jesus, that he is okay. We don't know if he had internal injuries, but he was able to stand up. He was ready to get out of there. And sir, if you should ever see this, I feel you. Claustrophobic in a car that's just been wrecked and all you wanna do is get out and you can't. I feel you. Oh, it was more than the tire sound. You should see the pavement, the asphalt grooved. And when they were trying to pull this truck back and put it on a flatbed, the whole car came with it. Let me go look and see if they're still there. Hold on. Okay, they cleared it. It's clear. They cleared him out. But y'all, you just minding your own business and somebody decides to run their truck up your rear end. Um, yeah, adrenaline surges, and I'm very aware of it. I mean, you do crazy things when you got that adrenaline going. And that man was a big, strong man, and he's trying to open the door. And I'm like, I don't know if the door can open because you can see all of this is pushed. And I'm leaning up against the door because I didn't want him to get out unless I absolutely had to let him out. There was a kind lady there. She's visiting from Houston who witnessed the accident, and she is a nurse practitioner. So you can see a lady standing kind of almost the same color shirt. Oh, you can't see that. Almost the same color shirt. Can I zoom? Nope, I can't. Not here. I don't think I can in here. But there's a lady standing right next to me. You see her hair blowing. She is a nurse practitioner. And nurse practitioners, oh, they're fabulous. But when there is a difference between what we call trench medicine or for EMS first responder versus clinical. And I was talking to her after and she goes, "Yeah, you have it." And she goes, I said, "Well, but you haven't." She goes, "Well, if his heart stopped, I can do life-saving measures." And I said, "Yeah, we both can." Is she in the other shot? Yeah, there she is. And but first response is a little different. God, I look huge. These pants are hanging. I'm not that big legged, by the way. These pants are loose in the front. I hate it, but oh well. None of us are perfect. What can I say? But the big thing is that he's alive. Everybody walked away, and that is huge. Everybody walked away. And there was a telephone pole that he could have hit, and if that hill hadn't been there and it was flat land, he would have been in the building. Oh god, what happened? We are in dry conditions. Okay, that's not good. Oh, I'm just checking everything. Okay, so let me get my brain back. I gotta get my brain back. I do need to go and document this. So as soon as trial happens and I'm down, I've got to document all this in case it goes to court and I have to testify. Yep. Don't think I will, but I still need to document it just in case. So back to Miss Monica. I I would love to visit with Miss Monica and ask one question. Why on God's green earth at 49 years old are you sending
private, excessively intimate pictures and wanting to be a porn star and a downright hoe. Why, at your age, are you wanting to do this? Um, I just I think we were all kinda grossed out yesterday. I think we were. I think we were way grossed out yesterday by her trial. We have another thing I'm paying attention to. If anybody watched the Ellen Gilland, sentencing hearing, she is, Mercy Killing sentencing hearing. She unalived her poor husband because, of his end of life experiences and situations. And I have been watching all morning. They had people from SWAT come and she shot him in the hospital, and, or in a yeah, and she unalived him in the hospital, and, the, SWAT team had to come, the whole 9 yards. Then she wanted to end her own life, and so it's just crazy. What time were you guys thinking about coming? So, unfortunately, she is up on trial. Some of the workers in the I will go ahead and share this. Some of the workers in the hospital want her to go away for life because they got scared, even though the weapon was never pointed at them. They had to go on lockdown, and the nurse that was caring for him on that unit on that day said she needs to go to jail and throw away the key. But he's a 20-year-old, has no clue. I understand he was scared. He says he's got post traumatic, he's got this, he's got that. Um, I understand that, but, the interesting thing is she was brought up on charges of let me go
I
back to the
just felt
beginning.
like
This guy,
someone fell
this
to
is
the
the one
floor
that wants her
from the
thrown away
bed.
forever. I wanna hear the charges. I'm gonna play it for y'all. Why can I not testing, testing, testing. Why can I not hear? Are y'all hearing this? Why am I not hearing it? I why do I not have sound in my ear? I hear me. I can't hear it.
He prefers to use respiration.
Okay, here are her charges. Had a little scary moment there. I'm sorry, y'all. I need my lip gloss.
All right, good morning, folks. We're here in State of Florida versus Ellen Gilland, 2023 300352 CFDB. And would council state your appearances, starting with council for the state?
Marcus Lickio for the state. Matt Fair on behalf of Ms. Gillen. Good morning, Ashley Parker on behalf of Ms. Gillen.
Okay, and I see Ms. Gilland is seated next to you all. All right, so before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that's here in the audience, as well as those of you in the front of the courtrooms, please silence your cell phones. Don't put them in vibrate mode. Turn them either off or silence them completely. And I want to let everybody know that this obviously is a courtroom, and so no outbursts of any sort will be tolerated later on or at any point during the proceeding. If there are,
I don't wanna hear all that.
the state has waived the minimum mandatory with respect to had previously entered a plea of with them either one and
Matt
Very
Fair on behalf of Ms. Gillen. Good morning, Ashley Parker on behalf of Ms. Gillen.
okay, and I see Ms. Gillen is seated next to you all. All right, so before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that's here in the audience, as well as those of you in the front of the courtrooms, please silence your cell phones. Don't put them in vibrate mode. Turn them either off or silence them completely. And I want to let everybody know that this obviously is a courtroom, and so no outbursts of any sort will be tolerated later on or at any point during the
My living
proceeding.
room.
If there are any expressions like that, then that will be grounds for having you removed from the courtroom. So today we're set for sentencing. Ms. Gillen had previously entered a plea of no contest to the charges of count 1, assisting self-murder / manslaughter, count 2, aggravated assault with a firearm, count 3, aggravated assault with a firearm, and count 4, aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer with a firearm. My understanding is that the state has waived the minimum mandatory with respect to the charge of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer with a firearm. That would typically be a charge for which there's a 3-year minimum mandatory. The state has agreed to waive that. The state has also agreed to waive the sentencing guidelines. Is that correct, Mr. Interlicchio?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that's what I wanted you to hear. She laid the gun down at one point, the lead shooter down at one point, and then picked it back up. And when she did, she let a round go and it hit the ceiling above the police officers, hence why she's got those 3 other charges. So basically the state is understanding this is she was in a psychologically not good place, and that so everybody's working with her. Nobody wants to see her to go away. Unlike this woman, we all want to see her go away and forever.
Call it, the people are going to be calling witnesses out of order, we discuss the issue.
Okay, we're gonna get all that, get the volume up. Sorry, I'm trying to get the page. Bring the jury. Bring the jury.
Hope you enjoyed it. I think that's a good question for a raise.
We'll bring the jury.
Salaries, she's trying to impress the wrong person. In any event, we're gonna take an interruption from Detective Roberts today. Call it, the people are gonna be calling witnesses out of order, we're discussing issues. You may call your next witness out of order.
Thank you. The people call Deputy Dante Hardy.
Do you solemnly state the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat and stand. And for the record, say and spell your first and last name, please.
Dante Hardy, DontaeHardy.
Thank you. Sir, can you tell us how it is that you're employed, please, if we didn't know already from your uniform?
With the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department
And where are you assigned?
to this building, CCB.
What does that mean?
That I'm a deputy sheriff inside of the criminal courthouse, the Clarence Shortridge Post Criminal Justice Center.
This building.
Yes.
And what are your duties here as a assignment to the courthouse?
I'm assigned to PM shift lockup, which is from 12 p.m. to 2000 hours, which is 8 p.m. And we oversee the care for the inmates.
Okay. So you're responsible for the security in the courthouse.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to ask you, how many years have you been so employed by the Sheriff's Department?
17 years.
I want you to stay.
Back in
Y'all not subscribed. Please go and
2018, June of
subscribe. I keep hitting
2018,
2,800.
were you working also in this building
So
Yes.
I'm
in
2
the
away
same
from
capacity
20
that you are now?
Yes.
And on the date of Thursday, June 28th of 2018, were you responsible at approximately 8 a.m. for escorting an inmate to the satellite cell on the 9th floor?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the individual's name?
His name was inmate Baker.
Showing what has been previously marked as People's 14. Do you recognize this individual here?
Yes.
And is this the inmate that you are talking about?
Yes.
Is it is there a standard procedure that's followed with respect to any property that the inmates bring out with them from their respective custodial facilities run by the sheriff to the court?
Yes,
What is that?
we search out their property and their person
Why do you do that?
for the safety of ourselves and the safety of the other personnel and the inmates that are in the lockup.
Okay. And did you find anything when you searched the inmate Robert Baker on June 28th of 2018?
Yes,
And can you describe what that was, please?
it was a manila folder and a clear toothpaste container.
Inside the manila folder, what, if anything, did you find?
He had various papers in there, and also I don't recall everything.
All right. Your Honor, I have 3 photographs relating to this evidence, all dated June 28th of 2018. Lower left-hand corner has the numbers 1 through 3 respectively. May they be marked, please, collectively as people's 228?
Yes.
Showing you what's been now marked is people's 28. There's a 228 and there's a 1 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes,
And what is this?
this is one of the documents that was inside of the manila folder.
And in this same picture, do we also see the toothpaste tube as well as some handwritten documents?
Yes,
Bless you. Showing you people's 228, there's a 2 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize what you see here?
yes,
And again, is this a close-up of the documents and this hand-drawn,
yes,
I don't even know what to call it, piece of paper, and then the edge of the toothpaste tube to the right?
yes,
Showing you people's 228, there's a 3 in the lower left corner. Does this appear to be the toothpaste tube that you recovered,
yes,
along with the documents as we've described?
yes, ma'am.
All right. Once you recovered these items from Robert Baker's possession, what did you do with them?
I brought them out into the courtroom to Sergeant Westfall.
Who's Sergeant Westfall?
At that time, he was my supervisor.
Okay. And at that point, did you provide all of those items to the lieutenant?
I provided them to Sergeant Westfall. Yes,
And there is an envelope there in front of you that was marked yesterday as People's 227. Can you open that exterior envelope and remove what's inside and tell us if you recognize it, please?
yes.
And how is it that you recognize People's 227?
Okay, guys. Yana, thank you for doing all this right now. I have got to document this accident. So it's going to take me a few minutes, a hot minute to do that. Because you never know. May have to testify. But thank you for doing it. This first witness today is a jail guard who testifying about confiscating a toothpaste containing male DNA fluid. We call it the pleasure. That's what, okay, I got that from an inmate. By the way, that's what they call it. And some people call it in jail. In a manila envelope from Robert Baker's cell. Ew, was she trying to get prego or something? Oh, you are. You're doing great. You're doing fabulous. I may not have been that good.
7.
This was the manila folder that I recovered from M.A. Baker.
And is there some writing on the exterior of that
Yes,
envelope?
yes,
And does it have information on the exterior of the envelope that you recognize?
yes.
And what is that?
This is our earn number.
Your what number?
This is our department's earn number. So this is how we
URN number?
Yes, ma'am.
What's a URN number and earn number?
It's how we track our reports and our evidence.
So is that a unique number that would track the evidence in a particular case?
Yes,
And is that URN number 9-18-00363-4016-184?
it's 918-00363. Yes.
And if you could go ahead, do you need gloves?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You could open that envelope once you got your gloves on and describe what you find inside.
There is an evidence property bag. There's white line paper with writing on it. There's a drawing, a picture of Deadpool. There's
Like
more,
a cutout picture?
yes. There's more drawings of a female and a male, and a character.
Yeah,
tail.
gosh, I love it.
And then how many, other than the drawings, looks like there's also a drawing on the backside.
Yes,
What is that?
appears to be a penis.
And approximate, or if you could count for us, how many pages of paper, it looks like writing, handwriting on, in pencil on both front and back?
Approximately 50.
In addition to the two-sided paper with the drawings?
Yes.
And the evidence, the plastic evidence bag, does that appear now to be empty?
There's a card inside.
Card. Is that also part of all of these papers that you turned over to your lieutenant?
No. I'm not sure what this
Is
is.
that a receipt for the toothpaste tube?
Yes,
And if that contained biological evidence, would that normally be sent, removed from the envelope and sent to your sheriff's crime lab?
yes,
And are you also familiar with the type of paper that we see here in this 50-plus pages from the sheriff's department as some paper that is normally distributed
yes,
through the canteen?
yes.
Showing you the front. Where there appears to be a picture that's been cut out and some writing.
Yes.
And what does it say here?
Bigger, longer, and uncut, just like my man. Grinning?
Grinning. And then some word MUAH
Yes,
with a drawing of a woman's
lips.
lips and colored in with a red pencil, it looks like. Yes?
Yes,
And on the back, the cutout picture, you said this is Deadpool.
yes,
And then some more writing here on the backside.
yes,
And then the 2-page front and back drawing that we talked about. Yes?
yes,
And the backside.
yes.
I started writing here, I was just gonna pull it out. Also on one of the pages, the handwritten pages, there appears to be some kind of a drawing at the bottom.
Yes,
I'm going to return all of these to you for replacement into the sheriff's envelope.
Thank you, Jeff. They've already, you were excused. You may go next witness.
Leslie Thompson.
Okay, so that's all about the DNA. Matt, why'd you come and do that? Just came in and shut the door. Keep out the devil and shut the door. Thank you guys for being patient. I do need to document what went on today. I'm very careful, even if I'm there for any. If I show up on the scene, I document it. Who I talk to, if I can get names. If not, I do it via descriptions of people, and I document everything. So date, time, what I heard, what I saw,
We're
and
not on the session yet.
all that good
She
stuff.
left.
All the good stuff. So, who is this lady? I don't know who that woman was.
Raise your hand. Do you solemnly state the
Sure.
testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness stand.
Partner. Come on.
And for the record.
Oh, I
say
wouldn't be
and
able to
spell
do
your
it.
first and last name, please.
My name
Not
is
at all.
Leslie Thompson, Leslie Thompson.
Thank you.
Proceed, please.
Ma'am, can you tell us how it is that you're employed, please?
Yes, I'm employed as a senior criminalist for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and I am assigned to their crime laboratory.
And where are you assigned?
To the crime laboratory, which is a part of our scientific services.
Oh,
unit.
now they're gonna.
I mean, what section?
Oh, excuse me, the
Sorry.
forensic biology section.
What, is that the section in the sheriff's crime lab that handles DNA evidence?
That's correct. We
Okay.
handle evidence
Isn't that
examination,
something?
DNA analysis, and we also make up our crime scene investigation unit.
Yana, thank you so much.
And how many years have you been there?
I've been with the Sheriff's Department, it was 16 years last November. And previous to that, I was with the California Department of Justice for approximately 4 years at their Richmond DNA laboratory and their Riverside Crime Laboratory.
Tell us a little bit about your education and training, if you would, that qualifies you for your position as a senior criminalist assigned to the DNA section.
Sure. I have my degree from the University of California at Berkeley in molecular and cellular biology, which is basically biological chemistry. I also, within the Sheriff's Department, completed a 1.5 year long training program for forensic biology, which consisted of lectures given by senior staff members. I attended courses given by the California Criminalistics Institute. Some of the course titles were DNA extraction and quantitation, STR and DNA analysis, and population genetics and statistics in DNA analysis, to mention a few. My training also included approximately 40 data analysis sets, 20 laboratory experiments, 6 laboratory examinations, 4 written examinations, and 4 oral examinations.
And do you now also teach others in various areas relating to DNA analysis and serology or biology?
Yes, I do.
And approximately how many samples would you say you've processed using various DNA typing techniques over the years?
It's a tough question to answer. I would say I process somewhere close to about 100 cases a year in terms of DNA with the sheriff's department. Each case can vary on the amount of samples, from 1 sample to 40, just depending on what that case needs. So, in the tens of thousands.
Y'all don't forget to like and comment. I
And
like
you
it.
have also
Get into
qualified
the
and
drawing.
testified before as an expert with respect to DNA analysis and the results.
Yes, I have.
Now, is the Sheriff's Crime Lab accredited?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Are you credited similarly as the LAPD
Yes,
section?
I believe so.
And do you and the LAPD Crime Lab share space in a building that's located on a particular campus?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And is that at Cal State LA?
It is.
And does the accreditation process require that your lab is audited on a regular basis?
Yes, we are audited every year, not always by our accrediting body. Some years it's by the FBI for their quality assurance standards. Some years it's an internal audit from our quality assurance section. And I believe it's every 4 or 5 years, we are re-accredited through our accrediting body, which is ANAB. And
What does that stand for?
Stands for the American National Standards Institute National Accreditation Board.
And does that accreditation also require that you undergo, along with all of the other analysts in the DNA section, proficiency testing?
Yes, it does.
And what does that entail?
A proficiency test is basically a blind test that mimics casework, and it's created by an outside company. And they send one for each of our DNA analysts or screeners. For us, for DNA analysts, it's every 6 months. And we process that case just like we would an actual case. And then we submit the results to that agency. And it's that agency who checks our results, checks our processes, and ensures that we got the appropriate answers.
Are there also, pursuant to your accreditation, quality assurance measures and controls that are in place within the lab and also specifically within the DNA section?
For our accreditation, but also our laboratory tends to go a little bit above and beyond as well. So there are many quality assurance measures. I could go through some if you would like.
A few.
Sure. So within the laboratory space, we use disposable items to look at the evidence. So a scalpel that you would use one time and then throw away, so as not to contaminate from the scalpel tip. We use sterile swabs. Between each item of evidence, we bleach down our entire area, put up butcher paper. We wear a lab coat, mask, and gloves, and we change those gloves regularly. We examine forensic unknowns or evidence items in a separate space and a separate time from examining reference samples. And a reference sample is a sample from a known individual who may be involved or related to the case. So those are examined completely separately and processed separately to avoid even the sort of possibility of some sort of cross-contamination.
And does your lab also have, just as the LAPD side of the lab has, a computer program that automatically checks for cross-contamination by analysts, that includes analysts' DNA samples within the program?
Yes, we do. And we also have an additional program that checks not just our lab personnel to the sample, but samples to samples to ensure that, everything worked appropriately, there was no contamination, and these results are accurate and acceptable and reliable, and we can report them.
And is there also a peer review process in place?
Yes, there is.
So
with-
all of your work gets reviewed by a supervisor, the raw data that comes off the instrumentation?
Yes, it does. It actually gets reviewed twice. It gets reviewed by an analyst of equivalent training. So since I'm trained in DNA, it would be an analyst who is also trained in DNA to ensure that we followed our quality assurance written down standard operating procedures, that we performed all the lab work as expected, that we recorded everything, that we were transparent, and that they agree with our results.
Okay.
And then once that review is complete, then the entire file again is reviewed by the supervisor.
And since we've already heard about the basics of what DNA is, I want to ask you about the case specifics regarding laboratory case number under your sheriff's case number 18-036596.
May I refer to my notes, Your Honor? Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
And does that pertain to some evidence that was delivered to the lab under LASD URN number 9-18363-4016-184?
Yes, that's correct.
And what was the evidence sample that was sent to you for analysis?
I received a toothpaste tube containing an off-white substance.
Is that what we see here on the
over there.
projector in
No.
People's Exhibit 228?
We're going to hear the E word.
That looks very much like the toothpaste tube I received. However, that's not the photo I took
Yes.
of my evidence item.
Oh,
Your Honor, I
no,
have an
over
additional laboratory photo of what's in 228 along with some results. If they could be added to People's 228, 2 additional pages, and in the lower left corner, there's a 1 and a 2 respectively.
Very good.
Thank you. Showing you what's been marked now as People's 228 with a 1 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, I do.
And what is this?
This is my photograph of the toothpaste tube that I received as item 2 for this case.
Okay. And is it your pattern that you will photograph the evidence as part of your case package as we see here?
It is.
Okay.
Some items I might not, but in if it's not sort of something you would come across in your normal daily life, I will photograph it and possibly sketch it.
And with respect to this particular item, did you weigh it as you normally would in an object like this?
I did weigh it.
And
yes.
what did that indicate?
This toothpaste tube weighed about 20.5 grams. It's so these are millimeter ticks, so it's really the size of a travel toothpaste tube. And that's sort of significant because, excuse me, on the packaging, the toothpaste tube is labeled as weighing 17 grams. So this was sort of overfilled. It weighed more than what the manufacturer had stated it should weigh.
Okay. So the toothpaste had been removed and some other biological fluid or some other type of white, as you said, off-white fluid was inserted into the tube?
There was some other fluid inserted into the tube.
I am just trying so hard to be a good girl. I could go so bad with this. Was it whipped cream? Cottage cheese? Was it mayonnaise? What was it? I'm guys. I would too, you guys. Yana, if that was a brand I used, I would have to. I wouldn't be using it anymore. Nope, not gonna happen. Okay, I got to back that up. We're gonna back that up. Here we go. What's going on with the mic? I don't. Oh, okay. I can adjust it. What are you doing? We get salespeople coming in all the time. What is the deal?
What did you do with the contents?
Sidebar.
On that, I performed some biological testing on that. So I began by taking some
so
of the
bad.
liquid and I used that to
That's so bad.
moisten a swab, which is
Test
basically
all
a
your
sterile
senses.
Q-tip.
Sight, smell, feel.
And then I tested that Q-tip. I performed a presumptive test for seminal fluid. It's basically a chemical color change test. So you add certain chemicals, and if seminal fluid may be present, they will turn a purple color. So I performed that test on the swab with the liquid, and it did in fact turn purple. So that indicated to me that I needed to do more testing because there are some other substances that will give you a positive chemical color change test. So the idea is that if you get a negative, you know that the substance you're testing for is not present and you can move on to something else. But if you get a positive, now that gives you the indicator to test more definitively for the substance you're looking for.
Let me ask you a question. This color change test, we've heard testimony in this case regarding blood evidence. Is it a similar chemical test to one that would be utilized by experts such as yourself to test for blood? A similar type color change test.
Yes, the exact chemistry is slightly different, but the idea is the same, is that when certain components in the fluid we want to find are present, they will create a visual change in that chemical, and that will indicate that that fluid could potentially be present in whatever the stain it is that you're testing.
So once you got that presumptive positive result for semen, what did you do at that point to confirm?
That led me
Guys, I'm trying to keep my mind
create a
in good
microscope
place.
slide from some of that liquid.
I can go somewhere really bad.
Stain it. So I added some of that liquid to a glass slide. I allowed it
I could go somewhere real bad, y'all. I'm trying to be a good girl.
to dry. I added certain stains that would color the different cell types. And then I visually looked for sperm cells using a microscope within that liquid. And I did in fact find a large amount of sperm cells within that liquid.
Is there some type of rating system that you use based on
Were
the
they still
volume of
alive or
sperm
were they
cells?
dead?
There is a grading system. It's
Were they dead or
it's not
alive?
very defined,
How old? How fresh?
but
I'm sorry.
if you can find a multitude of sperm cells in each area, because you aren't able to look at the entire stain in one shot, you have to move the slide around to view the entire stain. So in each viewing, if you can see a multitude of sperm cells, we would rate that as a 4+, which is the highest. And then 3+ would be a little bit less and maybe not in every viewing. That's a 3+, and a 2+ would be less and in some viewings, and so on as it goes down.
I just
So this particular slide rated as a 4+.
And once you looked at it under the microscope, what is the next step that you did?
So the next step is that I wanted to perform DNA analysis on the fluid with the sperm cells in order to obtain the DNA profile from that sample.
And so subsequently, did you do that so that you could proceed through to the DNA process?
Yes, I did.
Also, subsequent to that time, did you receive a reference sample for an individual by the name of Robert Baker? When we say reference sample, again, we're talking about a known sample.
Correct. And yes, I did.
And did you receive that from Randy Zepeda, who works in the DNA section of the LAPD's crime lab?
Yes, I did.
Angela, I
And
love
is he someone you've known for years from your work in the lab?
Yes, he is.
Bless you.
He might have even been in one of my classes.
Okay. And what was the form of the sample that you received from Mr. Zepeda?
It was basically a sterile swab as well. It's called a Bodie swab, and Bodie is just the name of the company that makes these swabs.
It's a buccal swab, correct?
Correct.
And what is a buccal swab?
A buccal swab? It's simply a buccal is a epithelial or non-sperm cell. It's called a buccal or buccal, and those line the inside of your cheeks. And so, in order to collect this type of reference sample from a swab, you would put it in your mouth and rub it on the inside of your cheeks on both sides. And in doing that, the swab would absorb cells from the inside of, excuse me, from the inside of your mouth.
Now we've heard about the some of the steps in the DNA testing process. What testing kit did you employ in this case?
Our lab has Fusion 6C validated for use.
Okay. And is that the same testing kit that's utilized on the other side of the lab by the LAPD?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you went through the same steps that they would go through, including the extraction, the quantitation, amplification, and then the analysis and detection, correct?
That's correct.
However,
exactly. However, I don't know what types of samples that were looked at LAPD, but there's a specific type of extraction that's just for when you have a sample where you suspect there are sperm cells present. And LAPD has the same type of extraction, but I don't know if they performed, it's called a differential extraction. I don't know if they performed a differential on any of their samples. I don't.
She's 49 years old. 49. Probably not. Well, she could possibly be able to make a baby, but I don't know if she hit menopause yet or not. But this is so gross.
I don't know their case.
Gross.
But because I identified sperm cells
None
in
of
the
your killing us.
sample,
I love you.
I did perform a differential extraction.
okay. And what does the differential extraction process do?
So ultimately what it does is it's able to separate sperm cells from non-sperm cells. So it takes this sample, and in this case, I put some of this liquid on a swab and put the swab in a very small sterile tube to begin DNA analysis. So the way the differential extraction works is I added specific chemicals that would only break open the non-sperm cells, allowing the non-sperm cell DNA to be released into solution while the sperm cells still stayed intact. So a sperm cell is a little bit different from a normal cell because it's designed specifically to travel through a hostile environment and then deliver just its DNA to an egg.
Yep.
So it's in sort of
it's
in a capsule, and that capsule is reinforced with sulfur bonds. It's just reinforced. So it's a little bit stronger than a normal cell. And we take advantage of that. And we're able to add those chemicals that will burst open the normal cells, but leave those sperm cells intact. Once we do that, we're able to take the liquid that has the non-sperm cell DNA away from the sperm cells. And now we have two samples. We have a sample that consists of non-sperm cell DNA and a sample that consists of sperm cells that now we can add special chemicals to that will allow us to break the sperm cell capsule open and release its DNA. So we've created two different fractions or portions or samples from the one. And it's not exact. It's more of a, we're concentrating in this one sample, the non-sperm cell DNA, and we're
Sorry, guys. I just told my son what we were talking about. He goes, "Oh,
concentrating in the second sample, the sperm cell DNA.
And that's the differential extraction is a standard process utilized by crime labs around the world in order to separate out if you have a sample that you suspect contains semen, sperm cells, from the epithelial or the non-sperm cell fraction, correct?
That's correct.
All
And
right.
it's used because normally when you have a swab and you're looking for the semen, it's from a part of someone's body.
he is
And
so
usually a
professional."
mucous membrane, like the inside of your mouth or the vaginal canal. And those mucous membranes produce a lot of cells throughout the day. And so those swabs would contain a lot of non-sperm cells. And so that could potentially overwhelm the sperm cell DNA profile. So we have a better chance of seeing everything that's there if we're able to separate the two and then perform DNA on each one individually.
Okay.
He is
So,
handling this.
Did you
brilliantly.
issue in this
I have
case
to give it
a
to her.
DNA report regarding
to.
what you did, your analysis, and the results you obtained that was dated September 15 of 2018?
Yes, I did.
And did you develop profiles, a reference profile for this individual, Robert Baker, based on the evidence you were provided by Randy Zepeda?
Yes, I did.
And did you also develop evidence profiles, DNA evidence profiles for the sperm and non-sperm fraction from the liquid contained inside of this toothpaste tube?
Yes, I did.
And did you make a comparison between the reference profile belonging to Robert Baker to the unknown evidence profiles that you developed using that differential extraction?
Yes, I did.
And tell us your results, please. Let's start with the epithelial fraction or the non-sperm cell fraction.
Absolutely. So for the sample of the semen from the toothpaste tube, the non-sperm cell fraction, I recovered a DNA profile consistent with coming from one individual. So it was a single source profile. And Robert Baker was included within that profile. I also performed some statistical analysis, which will give meaning or weight to that inclusion, if I may.
Yes.
I performed what's called a likelihood ratio. And a likelihood ratio, it compares two separate or varying ideas.
Two hypotheses, basically competing hypotheses.
Two competing hypotheses, exactly. So one is that given this DNA profile we recovered from the evidence and this DNA profile from this individual, how likely is it that this profile from the individual could have made up the profile that we recovered from the unknown versus I have this DNA profile from my unknown and a DNA profile from anybody else in the world, any profile I want. How likely is it that that could have made up this DNA profile? And when you compare the two, if it's more likely that the individual you're looking at could have made this DNA profile, then your likelihood ratio is going to be larger.
Yana, did you hear that?
If it's
I'm gonna do
not
it again.
very likely, meaning that the genetic profile really doesn't match or it's not consistent with the deconvolution of your unknown.
Anybody hear someone
The
saying, wait,
interpretation, basically, of your unknown sample.
Basically, the interpretation of your unknown sample, then that would be an exclusion.
Wait, you heard that?
Wait.
Sidebar.
Are you hearing this? Did I fix it?
Bruh.
Yana, are you kidding? Are you hearing this stuff? Some of it. Okay, did you hear the man laughing? Oh, this is going to be fun.
And so in this case,
You said that Robert Baker was included.
that's correct. And the DNA profile is approximately 9 times 10 to the 28 times more likely if it originated from Robert Baker than if it originated from an unknown individual.
I got one for y'all. You ready?
Howdy, soldier.
We're talking about soldiers.
Howdy, soldier.
Please tell me you heard that.
So in terms of what that number means, within our laboratory at the time, any likelihood ratio greater than 1,000 is an inclusion. Any likelihood ratio between 0.001 and 1,000 is inconclusive. Anything less than 0.001 is an exclusion. That means this individual could not be the contributor of the DNA. So 1,000 is a 1 with 3 zeros, and that would give you an inclusion. This is a 9 with 28 zeros. It's a huge number. It's not even just thousands of thousands, it's millions of millions. So it's very strong probability that in fact Robert Baker was the contributor of the DNA that we found in this profile.
So once you make that determination, did you move on to the analysis of the sperm fraction of the contents of that toothpaste?
Y'all, let's be
Yes, I
adults
did.
here.
And what was your result?
I found from the sperm fraction of the sample of semen from the toothpaste tube a DNA profile consistent with coming from one individual, so a single source profile, and Robert Baker was included within that profile. I performed the same type of statistical analysis, and the DNA profile from the sperm fraction of the sample of semen from the toothpaste tube is approximately 9 times 10 to the 28 times more likely if it originated from Robert Baker than if it originated from an unknown individual.
So you basically got the same statistic from your likelihood ratio calculation.
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
And would that
On the
be
machine, not me.
what you would expect given that you're talking about a single source
That was a fart.
sample?
Yes, and given that in looking aside at just the profiles, they're both single source, they're both male, and they both were contained the same alleles.
I know.
Single source meaning came from one person as opposed to a mixed sample. Like if you're talking about when you mentioned the differential extraction, if you were talking about an item that was recovered, let's say from a sexual assault kit that might have the victim's DNA along with a perpetrator's DNA.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further.
That's the main part.
Howdy, soldier.
Appropriation the same again this time.
Glad I could help.
We have no question.
Your excuse.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Chief, may I call the next witness?
He deployed a lot of
Howdy, soldier.
soldiers. Oh, and she had to sit through that. Okay, guys, I have got, let's see if you're hearing some of this.
You can please face me and raise your right hand. Please stand.
Cricket.
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give and the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God? Yes. Thank you. Please have a seat and stand. And for the record, say and spell your first and last name, please.
Jessica Sementilli, GESSICA SEMENTILLI.
Daughter.
Morning.
I'm going to have to ask you some questions. I'm sure this is uncomfortable for you, but
For his daughter.
I'm going to try to get through the questions with you, okay?
Okay.
All right. First of all, how old are you today?
I'm 26.
And are you the daughter then of the defendant? You see your mom in court?
Yes.
And your dad was Fabio?
Yes.
And then do you have a sister?
Yes.
What's your sister's name?
Isabella.
And how old is she right now?
24.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions about
I didn't
the
get her
day your dad was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need any breaks, let me know, okay? You okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's get through this.
Oh, this is
You guys had
showtime.
moved to Woodland Hills from Canada like around 2010, is that right, as a family?
We moved to Tarzana first, then Woodland Hills, but yes.
And you ended up then at the 5012 Queen
Yes.
Victoria? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about that day.
Thank you very much.
Starting in the morning, if you could just walk us through the morning. You remember that day, obviously. If you could walk us through the morning, do you remember what time you got up about?
I think I got up around 11:30, 12, and I know I went to the gym with my mom that day.
Okay. So when you got up and you went to the gym, that was around like 11:40 or so you left
Yes.
for the gym?
Yes.
I know the court reporter is going to turn around and look at me because we are talking over each other. So
much.
I'm going to ask a question. I know you're probably nervous. Just wait
Welcome.
so that she can type my question and then she can type your answer, and I'll try not to
I'll
cut
just
you off
miss
too.
some
Got it.
fun.
Okay. So you woke up around 11:40 and you went to the gym. Now, when you got up, who was home?
Mommy.
Mom, dad, me.
And where was your sister, if you know?
School.
So at that time, was your sister in high school?
Yes.
And how old was your sister at that time?
16, 17.
Okay, and how old were
Y'all
you?
y'all subscribe.
18.
And also,
And were you in
I
school?
want to put a pause here.
I was in
For
community
y'all who
college.
don't know,
Okay, so you
today we'll be drawing for a $50 gift card to Starbucks or wherever you would like. In order to be entered, you must do some of the following. Read the banner below to get entered, and it will be drawn. You do not need to be present to win.
were home with your mom and dad in the morning. Do you
subscribe.
remember anything about the morning? Did you see your dad that morning?
Yes.
Can you just tell us what you remember?
He was sitting at the island working on his computer
Make sure,
in the kitchen.
sorry, my bad. Make sure you put the words ILIKED. Oh, Tash, like Tash just did, Yana just did, just like that to be entered into the drawing. It doesn't cost you.
And then you decided to go to the gym?
Yes, with my mom.
So you guys both went to the gym. Who drove to the gym?
My mom. No.
Welcome, everybody.
All
Thank
right.
you for coming on over.
What car did you have?
A red Mustang.
Let me mark this equals 229, a photograph of a red Mustang.
Y'all, she gonna have to identify her mother's photos of her private anatomy.
Is that your car?
Yes.
You don't know what that means.
Yes.
You'll see.
So you and your mom left for the gym in your car around 11:40 or so. And what gym was that?
LA Fitness.
Okay, is that a gym you'd been to before?
Yes.
Were you a member there?
Yes.
And you knew your mom to be also?
Yes.
Okay. What were you going to the gym for? Obviously, were you going there to work out?
Yes.
All right. Tell us what happened when you got to the gym.
We got to the gym. We went on the treadmills. We worked out our legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you know, you did the workout then. Do you know, back then, did you know who Rob Baker was?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see him at the gym that day?
No. We saw her trainer, Matt.
Thank you.
And
With
who
it.
was 14? Rob Baker?
Yes.
Okay. So you did a workout and then did you leave? How long were you there?
Not even an hour.
Okay, so if you left around 12:43, you've seen video in court. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
And then what happened? You went straight home?
Yes, we went home.
Okay, tell us about when you got home. If you can walk through who was there and what happened.
When I got home, it was me, my mom, and my dad. I left with my friend Sahar to pick up kids that she was nannying because she didn't want to go alone. And then I came back and it was just dad.
Okay. Now, by the way, when you're at the gym, you said that you're on the treadmill and you did legs. Your mom didn't play racquetball.
No.
And you didn't play racquetball?
No, I never played.
When you got home, you saw your dad. What was your dad doing when you got home? A little around like 12:45, 1 o'clock, that time frame.
Working on the computer in the island kitchen.
He was still at the same
Yes.
place?
Yes.
And then you left again. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Where did you go?
With my friend Sahar to pick up kids that she was nannying at Hale Middle School.
And do you know what time that was?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but it was immediately when I got back from the gym, and then I came back right after that.
All right. So when you got
I'm the
home, your
Danish
dad was on
baker.
the counter. Did you guys have lunch or anything?
Yes, he made me.
I'm the Danish baker.
And your mom had lunch with you guys?
No, she left at this point.
Do you know where she went at this
Thank
point?
you, guys.
No, she said she was going to run errands.
Now, if you got home at about, let's say you got home closer to 1, right? And then does it sound right? You went to pick up the kids about 2:30?
Yeah.
Had your mom left before you left to go pick up those
And
kids? I don't recall.
then
Okay,
let's
but she
go
went to go
run.
run an errand.
Yes.
Did you see her again that day?
No.
Okay. So she left before you ever left to
Yes.
go pick up the kids. So you went to go pick up these kids and you came back. What time did you come back?
In time to leave for babysitting at like 3:40. So
So you were gone less than an hour?
yes,
And when you came back, where was your dad?
at the island kitchen,
What was he doing, if you remember?
working on the computer.
Do you know anything about a power washer that day, him fixing or taking a power washer in
We
to
have
be repaired?
33 in here right now, and only
Do
19
you
lights.
remember telling the detectives that in February of 2021 that
Away.
you've been trying to fix a power washer over the weekend? Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay, that's okay. And then your dad had a Porsche, right?
Yes.
Had he just gotten that Porsche?
Yes.
Where did he keep it?
In the garage.
And where did you park?
I parked on the street.
Where did your sister park?
In the driveway.
What did your sister drive at that time?
A red Fiat.
And then what was your mom driving during that time?
Either the Fiat or dad's old truck.
Is that the F-150?
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, when you come and go from your house, how do you exit your house?
Through the front door and through the gate, but the gate to the house is almost always open.
And which gate are you talking about?
The front gate to the house, it's almost always open. We just close it at night.
All right. And then do you also exit through the garage?
No.
One moment. Okay, so you
No,
came
ma'am.
back then, and then when you came back, you left
Yeah.
to go babysit.
Yeah,
What
ma'am.
time were you supposed to babysit?
I think at 4:30.
So you left around 3:40, you thought?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
For her to type. All right. So walk us through then. You went to go babysit. What happened then?
I went to go babysit. The mother, Deborah, left to go run errands, which is normal when I was babysitting. And she came back very soon after, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and told me to go home right away. And she wouldn't tell me why. And so I just left.
What time was that about? Do you know?
Probably 5:40.
And who was this that you were babysitting for?
Deborah Obad's child, Max.
And how did you know Deborah?
She was our neighbor when we first moved to California in Tarzana.
Was she good friends with your mom?
Yes.
Was she good friends with your dad?
Yes.
And then did you know her fairly well?
Yes.
Did you guys ever socialize with Deborah Obad?
Yes.
What about, was she?
I give away at the end of the month a $50 gift card to either Starbucks, most people love, but if you're not a Starbucks person, you just tell me where and I give the gift card and send it to you. Yeah. Yeah. If you like Dunkin' Donuts, it'll be a Dunkin' Donuts one.
She married?
Yes.
If I can do
And
it
who was her husband?
online, I
Mike
can do that.
Camper.
I don't have
So
to
would you
do
consider
it.
them good family friends?
Yes.
Now, after everything happened, and I'm talking about your mom's arrest, did you end up living with Deborah?
No.
Did you ever stay with her?
Yes.
And how long did you stay with them?
A night or two.
Okay. All right. So that night then on January 23rd, 2017, after you're babysitting at Deborah's, you haven't been there very long, she comes back and tells you what, you need to go home.
Yes.
Did she appear to you worried, upset?
Yes.
Did you ask her why or what's going on?
Of course.
Okay, what happened?
She wouldn't tell me. She told me to go home and they'll explain it when I get home.
So what did you do?
I went home.
How long did it take you to get home from Deborah's house?
Thank you for all.
Not even
all the
10
details.
minutes. She lived very
Thank you
close.
very much.
So shortly, would you say after 5 you arrived home?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Did you park? Where did you park?
On the street.
And walk us through then what happened when you got home. Where did you walk in?
When I pulled up to the house, I noticed all the fire trucks, and so I parked. I walked towards the house. I noticed the garage door was open, and which was not normal. And I walked to the garage. All the firemen are there, and one of the firemen just said, "Your dad's dead." First thing I heard, and I walked inside. They told me not to look outside or look at the kitchen, and I didn't. I kept my head down, and I walked into our dining room, which was adjacent to the kitchen.
So this is
And
not the
mom's
one
in
who
shock,
found
and
the body.
Bella's not talking, and no one's telling me what's going on.
Okay. I'm sorry to go through this again. We'll try to get through this.
Sounds
The firemen told you that outside?
Yes.
So when you went inside, then you saw your mom and your sister. Where were they?
At the kitchen table.
And what were they doing?
Mom is inconsolable, screaming, crying. Bella's not speaking.
Okay. Now, what did you see as far as the scene?
I didn't see anything. I kept my head down, and we were in the living room or the kitchen table, the dining room. There's nothing to see there.
Did you see some blood in the house? We won't talk about outside.
On the floor, I saw a little bit when I
Okay.
kept my head down.
Did you see any on your mom?
No.
Did you tell the police that you'd seen blood on her hands?
No.
You didn't tell the police that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
Would looking at a transcript refresh your recollection on that possibly?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. And I'm gonna move on while I'm talking to you. What did you do then when you sat down?
Just asking questions to the officers what was going on. And they kept saying they have no answers for us.
Okay, so what happened next and how long were you inside?
I'm going to be honest, I don't really remember the rest of that night at all. I remember going to the neighbor's house across the street because they told us we couldn't be in the house anymore. I don't know how long after that was when I got home. And then I remember being interviewed a million times after that at the neighbor's house.
So what neighbor's house did you go to?
Her name is Vanessa. I can't remember her husband's name.
I know.
Now, did other people arrive at the house when you were there with your mom and your sister?
Yes, I had my friend Sahar come. My sister had her boyfriend at the time come. And mom had her friend Elise come.
Yeah, very much. PTSD for life, especially for the other daughter who found her dad. This one didn't find her didn't see him in that condition. Her sister did. And what's bad is this woman waited for her daughter to get.
Who are those friends? Can you describe who those friends are?
And she's watching it on the
My friend
family.
Sahar, I knew her from school. Isabella's boyfriend at the time from school, and Elise was from the gym.
Okay. Now, you knew Elise pretty well?
Not pretty. I just knew of her because I saw her at the gym, and I did a yoga class with her once.
And at that time, you really liked Elise, and it was your mom's friend?
Yes.
Okay. What happened then as far as when you went across the street, what happened?
I was interviewed by the detectives that were there.
What did they ask you?
To run through the day and questions about
what had happened,
yes,
what you'd done that day?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh
Now,
my God.
Did you ever have any like crisis team people come and talk to you or
Yes.
anything like that?
Yes.
When did that happen?
At the neighbor's house.
Thank you so much.
After that, did you ever do any counseling or any kind of therapy, anything like that to date?
I didn't. Isabella did.
Did you just choose not to?
Correct.
You didn't want to do it?
Right.
Okay. Now, before you went to your babysitting job, do you remember your mom just texting you, don't be late, and kind of going back and forth with that?
I don't remember it happening that day, but she always did that.
Texted you about your babysitting appointments?
If she knew about them, yes.
Okay, so
Thank
she
you
knew
so
you had a
much
babysitter.
for ignoring my voice.
Maybe. I don't know about that day.
Well-
Sometimes she knew, sometimes she didn't know.
Well, if she texted
I'm
you,
not-
don't be late for babysitting, then.
Thank you.
But I'm saying I don't know if she texted me that day.
Okay.
If she did, then she knew, but
Okay,
I don't remember.
typically, it's something you told her.
Not typically. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay, so. One moment.
You get one of these.
And your friend Sahar,
I will give you this. Thank you so much for your support.
came over then when you're across the street with the neighbors?
Yes,
Now, where did you sleep that night?
at Deb's house.
That's Deborah Obad?
Deborah Obad.
Obad. All right. I want to ask you some questions
Deborah
then
Obad?
about your video
name.
surveillance system.
Mhm.
So you had a video surveillance system in your house, right?
Yes,
And that was cameras that were hooked up around your house?
yes.
Now, do you know if those cameras were working during the time frame of January 2017?
Yes.
They were working?
To my knowledge, yes.
So inside your house, you had a monitor that sat on the kitchen?
It was inside the garage, right outside. Once you open the door from the kitchen, on the right-hand side, there was the monitor there with the VCR for the cameras.
Okay, so I'm talking about the actual screen where you
It
could
was in the
see-
garage.
And did you have it in the kitchen at one point on the counter?
Not that I remember.
Okay. And in the garage, actually where the Porsche's parked, you had the DVR boxes there on top of that, kind of a white,
Yes.
like a refrigerator or a cabinet or
Yes.
something.
And the monitor was on top of that.
When you knew that the monitor was on top of that?
Yes, that's where we went to go look for the cameras. It was never inside the kitchen that I remember. It was always inside the garage, the monitor.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to show you a
Whoa.
photo in a minute. I'm talking about
Whoa. Back that up. That right there is impeachable because they have photos. Number one, they had the person who, oh my God, nailing maps to the wall. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you are so amazing. Let me finish this thought real quick. The person who installed the camera system said the monitor was in the kitchen on the counter, kind of like in a little nook where you might put a computer. They have photos of the crime scene or the home when the police arrived, and shortly thereafter, the monitor is always in the kitchen, not on top of the refrigerator, cabinet, whatever, in the garage. Baker is a 2-ton man beast with showers and grain alcohol, feeds his grandson shrimp scampi, and Pope told him it's okay to have okay, I like your sense of Houston nailing maps to the walls since 1969. Thank you so much for your, once again, thank you so much for your support. For those of you who don't know, Heidi, the Highlander, is our little page mascot. So thank you so very much. We love you. Not used to super chat, so I appreciate it so much. And I'm going to give you a little hearts over here. Let's get back to this. But by the way, what she's saying right now could be true, could not be true, but this is impeachable.
in your kitchen as a counter and then there's a big monitor. You don't remember that being in your kitchen?
No, I remember like maybe at one point it was, but I remember that most of the time it was in the garage.
Okay. Was that after, are you remembering that after the murder happened, it was put in the garage?
No, because it was gone at that point. So no, it was before. At some point it was in the garage. Maybe at some point it was inside the kitchen, but.
Okay. Do you recall being able to view your cameras when you're in your house or your garage, wherever
Yes.
you believe it to be? You could view the camera footage from the outside around the house.
Yes.
Okay. So then the day of this,
oh my gosh.
as far as your DVR system, did you have access to it on your phone?
No.
Did your, do you know that you could access it from a phone?
Yes.
Did your mom have access to it on your phone, on her phone?
Both mom and dad.
And how did you know that?
Because when they came to set it up sometime in 2016, I was there. So I heard them talking about the app that it was connected to.
You heard who talking about it?
The person setting up the cameras.
And who is he talking to?
Mom and dad.
Okay. You remember your mom and dad being there?
Yes.
Okay. And he was explaining how to set up.
Wait. That's another. Thank you, Yana. That is another impeachable moment because Mr. Sementilli was not there the day it was installed. He was there when they came and talked about it. But when it was installed, I think if I remember correctly, Monica was
The camera is on your phone to view it on your phone.
Yes.
Okay. Did your mom then ever talk about being able to log in from her phone to view the cameras?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, had there been a time where she saw you on camera and commented to you that she saw you coming or leaving or something like that?
No.
Okay. She just had mentioned that she could view it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as that system, after this happened, you never, to your knowledge, set up a new camera system, right? Meaning you never reinstalled them, plugged them in, got the cameras working again.
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever, to your knowledge, get the cameras working again or plugged in again or whatever, a new DVR box?
No.
Now, did that make you concerned knowing what had happened in your house?
No, because the detectives said that it was a knock-knock burglar and they wouldn't do it again. So I wasn't worried.
So you weren't afraid?
No.
Okay. What about going on the back patio? You said the day of it, you didn't go out there and you didn't see your dad, right?
Correct.
Now, did it concern you at all about the back patio or going out there, anything like that?
After the fact?
Yes.
No.
You weren't concerned?
No, I felt close to my dad when I sat outside there.
Okay. Is that a place that your dad hung out a lot?
Yes, all the time.
And did he have we've talked about it, his favorite chair?
Yes.
Did he work out there a lot?
Yes.
And when did he work out there? Was it during the week or on the weekends?
If he didn't go to work for some reason, and I'd find him out there, during the day, or sometimes on the weekend. Sure, he's on his computer back there, but most of the time it was for watching TV outside.
Did he work from home sometimes?
Yes.
How often did he work from home?
Not often.
Did you know in advance when he was working from home?
Most of the time, no.
And when he worked from home, did he work on the patio then?
Or inside.
Sometimes.
Yes, depending on how hot it was.
Now, when you were there that morning, was your housekeeper there, Delia?
I've been, I know that she's there from transcripts and things I've seen, but I don't remember her because I was sleeping.
Do you typically see Delia there?
Yes.
And she comes on Mondays? Every other Monday?
I don't know.
All right. So, does she come every other week, basically?
I didn't know.
Okay. Had your dad then been home for the past every other week on Mondays?
Not that I remember.
You don't remember? Were you home those days or do you not remember?
No, I was probably out.
I'm sorry?
I was probably out.
Okay. So as far as the alarm system, you never hooked up. What about your alarm system in your house? Do you have an alarm system?
Yes.
After this murder happened, did you start setting the alarm system?
Yes.
Okay, did you tell the detectives back in June that you didn't even know how to set it and you didn't set it anymore?
I didn't know how to set it, but the people who, like my aunt and my grandmother who came, they would set the alarm.
When they were there?
Yes.
I guess my question is, when you were there with you, your mom, and your sister, did you tell the detectives then in June of 2014 that nobody sets the alarm?
Right.
Did you kind of get to the point where you, as your immediate family, you didn't set an alarm?
Correct.
Okay, is there a reason why?
No.
Had you been setting the alarm before this murder?
No.
Didn't your dad set it at night?
Sometimes, but not all the time.
All right. Now, what about being home alone? Did you have any concern about being
Thank you
home alone?
so much.
I didn't.
When you say that, did your sister express concern to you?
Yes.
And what was she telling you?
That she was scared to be home alone and she didn't want to be. So to have,
That's
to
fair.
have us come home.
Okay. And at this
I wonder what
point
he
now,
did with
after
how my
the
father
murder,
died.
are you and
That
your
is
sister close
800.
right now? Let's say that.
Today, yes.
Were you close back then?
It was a very rocky relationship after the murder
Why is that?
because there was a lot of family fighting. So it was just
Okay.
hard on her, hard on me.
And she was 16 and you were 18?
Yes.
Okay, so it strained your relationship a little bit?
Yes.
All right. So she was afraid to be at home, but you felt okay?
Yes.
All right. Did you tell the detectives also back in June of 14th that if one of us is here alone, like we just don't like to be here? I mean, is that fair? You didn't really like to be home alone?
Correct.
All right.
But
And
not
then-
because I'm scared, just because I don't want to be home alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you tell the detectives also that we go somewhere else and we often go and sleep at Deborah's house? Did that happen?
Not often. We did not sleep at her house often. So I don't remember if I said that or not.
All right. So, but there was a degree of you didn't want to be home alone for whatever
Correct.
reason might be. I'm going to ask you
I'm
some
adding all of
questions
y'all
then
to the
about
drawing. I got to do it by hand.
Rob Baker. Now, there was a time before the murder, back in 2016, where you saw Rob in your house, right?
Yes.
How many times before the murder had you seen Rob in your house?
That was the only time before that I saw him in the house.
Okay. And can you tell us well, first of all, was there a time when you found him in your mom's bedroom in her bed?
Yes.
What time frame are we talking about, if you remember?
I don't remember the time frame. I think I was already graduated from high school. I was going to class or I was going to work.
Another Aussie. Thank you for subbing.
So that around that time.
2016?
Yes.
Okay. So in 2016, then one day, can you explain what you remember happening, how you found him?
Yes, I went to my mother's bathroom to take mascara or something because I like to do my mascara in her bathroom. And I didn't notice anything, but when I came out, I noticed Rob in her bed.
And what time was that?
It was in the morning. So I don't know, 10, 11 a.m. Maybe earlier.
Did you tell the police about 7 a.m.?
Maybe. Sure. If I was working, then that's 7 a.m.
Okay. Not trying to trick you. I just want to.
No, I just don't remember.
Okay.
Say I don't remember.
7 a.m. you went into your mom's bedroom, right?
Yes.
And I say that because at the time, did your dad sleep in the other room?
Yes.
All right. So you went into your mom's bedroom and what did you see?
I went to the bathroom first, and then when I left the bathroom, I saw Rob in the bed.
And you recognized him?
Yes.
How did you know what he looked like?
Because I went to LA Fitness and I knew that he was a racquetball coach, whatever, there.
Had you seen your mom playing racquetball with him before that?
Sure, yes, amongst other people though too.
Who else?
Elise, Faye, but there was a whole tournament, there was a whole league there, so a bunch of people.
All right. So you recognized him as being in.
Thank you for
from the
subbing.
gym. And what did you
Another
do?
Aussie.
I didn't say anything. I just ran out of the room and I called my mom.
Okay, and what did you say to your mom?
I asked, why is Rob in the bed?
And what did she tell you?
She told me that he doesn't drink often. They had a party last night. Her friend Sheila, I think, they all came over, and he doesn't drink often. He got drunk, and so he slept it off.
Well, did she tell you that he and Sheila spent the night?
Yes.
Did you see Sheila there?
No.
Did you see Sheila there the night before?
I wasn't there the night before.
Okay. So you didn't see her. You don't know.
Correct.
All right. So this is what your mom told you.
Yes.
But that morning you didn't see Sheila. You just saw Rob.
Yes.
All right. And how did you know Sheila? From the gym?
Yes.
All right. What happened then?
My mom told me, and I had no other reason to believe otherwise, so I believed her.
All right. Did you say anything to Rob?
No.
Did he say anything to you?
No.
And did you just leave the room then?
Yes.
Did you ever see him leave?
No, I was leaving the house, so I didn't see him.
So when you left, was he, to your knowledge, alone in the house?
Yes.
And your mom was dropping off your sister at school?
Yes.
So when you left then, did she tell you not to tell your dad?
Oh,
no.
Another entry.
Now, you said you weren't home the night before. But didn't you tell the police in February of 21st of 2017 that you heard your mom come home at about 2:30 in the morning?
At that point, I was home, but I wasn't like home for their party or whatever.
Okay. So let's back up then. That night, the night before you found Rob in your mom's bed, you were home that night earlier, or You're home at some point that night.
Yes.
Did you ever see any of your mom's friends come over that night?
No, I was in my room.
Around 2:00, did you hear your mom come home?
Oh,
If I said so back then yes.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to look? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you want to look at a transcript to
Sure.
refresh your memory? All right, let me get that for you.
While they do that, let's take a quick break. I got to share. Some of y'all don't know. Actually, I'm having an energy dump because just before I went live outside of our office, we had somebody do something stupid, and I will share the page with you. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a volunteer firefighter, first responder. And this is what happened right outside our business. This is the bank next door to us. And that was the accident scene that I was on this morning. So my energy is starting to come down. So that be me. That big fat chick right there be me. And luckily the guy is going to be fine. No severe injuries that we know of. I hope they took him to the hospital. But he was talking and wanting to get out, but that happened right outside our office. In fact, that little thing right there above the car, that little arch and straight, that's our business right there. And so, yeah. Thank God everybody's okay. And thank God, they didn't hit the building or the pole, because we wouldn't be here right now if that happened. So I just want to thank all of our fabulous first responders who came out. The bad thing is the guy clipped the cop before he hit that guy. So I bet he's in jail. Oh, I'm a lard butt. It's okay. Back to our regular program.
Morning recess for 15 minutes. Do you have any supplies? Sit back here in 15 minutes.
It was such a hard hit that when they tried to put the truck on the flatbed tow truck, the whole car came with it. It was bad. Oh my gosh. Thank you. What is it with you guys? What is this on my floor? Drop a bunch of beads. Oh, we once had a bachelor party at Baker's. Oh my gosh. And he ate the entire cake before we could tell him there was a dancer. Let's go. Yeah, it's a 10-minute break. Oh, thank you. I've lost 30 pounds. I'm having to get into new clothes. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome to my abode. This is my setup. As you know, that's a Rodecaster Pro 2. We have the Stream Deck switcher. We have the Stream Deck up here, the iPad, the phone, the monitors, the computer, which has a screen right here that y'all can't see. And I don't know why. It's kind of not being where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be right there. Thank you. That's more better. I can see it. I can feel it. I can reach it. Better. There we go. So this is my setup. Thank you so much, everybody, for your super chats and your comments and the love and the blessings. I love doing this, and this is an awesome court case. Now, what you have missed, and okay, we're back up to lifetime. What you missed was the first witness was a scientific expert on semen. Apparently, the man who did the unaliving for Monica Sementilli, her boyfriend, who is the boyfriend who is an ex-porn star, and managed porn actresses. I'm trying to be polite about this, y'all. Yeah, too much sharing. But anyway, she, at the age of 49, Monica Sementilli, decided that she wanted to become a porn star, hussy slut, and loves swinging.
Okay, that's fine. You're adults, but she was still married, and her husband had a $1.9 million life insurance policy, and she unalived him for that. The total I think the total estate for him was almost 2.5 mil. And so while they're both in the jail, she is writing letters to him using somebody else's CID number. And so the jail is not catching it because they were supposed to photocopy every single one of her letters to him. And he was mailing things to her in the same manner, but he had a tube of toothpaste, y'all. A tube of toothpaste that he pleasure filled with his pleasure white liquidy substance and was going to send to her in the mail. And they found it. And so, needless to say, they confiscated it and had it tested for little soldiers. And they were finally told, because of the delay in the delivery.
Howdy, soldier.
Yep. Oh, y'all are horrible. Y'all. But that said, OMG, y'all. OMG. That is insane. So I'm just this has been one of the slowest moving cases I have ever seen. And the funny thing is we are in day 20 still with the prosecution. But then again, we should have known better because it took the prosecution a day and a half just for opening statements. Not even mine went there. Touche. I never know what I can and can't say. He had his cake and girl and ate it. I can't. I don't want to get in trouble. You'll see yourself. Don't you leave. Don't you dare leave. You can't leave. You're not allowed to leave. Nope. No, ma'am. No leaving allowed. So anyway, I've had a very eventful morning and y'all have made my morning so fabulous. Thank you so much. We have gifted memberships. Thank you, June. We have Let's Go Brandon. Thank you so much. Ignoring my vices. Oh God, you're so amazing. All of y'all. Nailing maps to the wall since 1969. We have Making Law Simple. Thank you guys so much for joining and subscribing and participating. And most importantly, your super chats. When you come at the king, you best not miss. Thank you so much. Again, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You guys are so amazing. And I truly mean it when I say this. Thank you so much, all of you, for your love and your support. I can't do this without you. And yes, Heidi, our Highlander, is our little mascot. I can't remember how to say the boy's name. We have a male, but here's the girl. This was a special gift, and it's so soft. Wish I could get a blanket made out of that. It's softer than it appears. You are a very generous bunch, and I am so blessed to have you in here with me today for the raid. It has been a very long week. This morning was a little cray-cray, as you can tell. Hamish. That's right. Hamish. Sorry. Hamish. Where's Hamish? Hamish. Hamish. Where are you, Hamish? I have a lovely background back there, but I have a deaf person who's going to hop on later. So I need the black interpret. Look at Mr. Hamish. Here's Hamish. There's Heidi and Hamish. our two little chickadees. I might as well just put them right. Oh, get the mic back in front of me. I might as well just put them right here. Because everybody likes Hamish and Heidi. I am rolling over something and I don't know what it is. Probably need to vacuum because I do bead work and I've dropped a lot of beads. That's probably what it is. Yes. Howdy, y'all. Thank you.
Defendant is present, all counsel present, jury and
guys-
alternates are present.
Once again, you guys have missed the toothpaste and the just go back and watch the toothpaste filled with man juice.
Ms. Sementilli, you're still under oath, and you may continue, Ms. Sego.
Coconut juice? Is that what it looks like? Coconut milk?
One moment. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
29 was up on the screen.
This is her
That's the
daughter
one that I was
testifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your kitchen, though, right?
Yes, that monitor was not always there though. It was also at one point in the garage.
Okay. What point, if you remember, in your mind, was it in the garage?
When it first was put in. And then they eventually put it there.
So at the time of this incident, it was in the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay, just clarifying that one.
So here's the thing. That's a good lawyer because that lawyer knew that there was a screw up in her testimony. And before the defense could hop in and say, hey, wait a minute, back it up. We're going to try and get a, they were going to get her on it. The prosecution decided I better come in and clarify this because I don't need them impeaching my witness. So this here is saving ass. What it is.
Just going back to a couple questions and we'll go back. When you were, went to the gym with your mom that morning, anything happened at the gym? Any injuries that you recall?
No.
Okay. Your mom leave with any kind of a bloody towel or anything like that?
No.
Okay. No conversation about that at all?
No.
Now, I asked you earlier also about when you got to the scene, when you went into the scene, and I'm backing up, I know we'll get back to what we were talking about. When you got to the scene, when you went inside and you saw your mom and sister, and I asked you, did you see any blood on either one of them? Do you recall seeing any blood on either one of them?
Today, I do not recall that.
Okay, if I showed you a transcript, would that possibly refresh your memory on that?
Yes.
Okay, and this is the transcript from January 23rd, 2016, page 11.
Let's go, Brandon.
2017, I'm sorry.
All those-
Page 11.
You have no idea how much this
Mine's,
means to me. All of you.
6.
Let's go, Brandon.
You can back up if you need to. Just
ML.
just read it to yourself.
Nailing maps to the wall since 1969. Ignoring my vices.
Okay.
All
Does that
of you
refresh your
for
memory?
the membership.
Okay,
Thank you
start with
so
your
much, guys.
sister. Did you see some blood on her?
World to me.
On her shoes.
Okay, and then your mom?
On her hands.
Okay, so you saw, as you testified earlier, blood within the house.
Yes.
Did it look like it'd been like tracked through also with footsteps?
Yes.
Okay,
That's what I saw. It was footprints.
footprints and then
And-
these two
yeah.
additional. All right, no problem. And then one other follow-up. When you talked about leaving the house, you said that you usually left, did you say through the front door?
Yes.
Now, did you tell the detectives in February that you usually left through the garage?
Well, before my dad had the Porsche, we would leave through the garage. Then when he got the Porsche, he wanted that door closed, so I would leave through the front door.
Okay, but during your
That's
interview in
another clarification there because she told them that she leaves through
February
the front door.
21 of 2017, they asked you then how you left, and you were talking about the Porsche, and at that point you said you still left through the garage.
This is of 2021?
Yes, do you recall
Correct.
that?
Yeah, we don't have the Porsche anymore, so yes, I would go out that door.
Okay.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Did you 2021?
You had an interview with, sorry, you had an interview with the detectives, no, on February 21, 2017. I
No,
said,
bro,
yeah,
getting
okay,
confused.
that's why I got confused.
and during that time, they asked you, like, how do you normally leave the house? And you said through the garage.
Okay, I left both equally then.
Okay. Well, is it fair that you
know
left
why
through the
you
garage
left the
most
house.
of the time?
What does that matter?
That's how I leave the house usually.
What
Is that
you-
fair?
I don't remember.
Would looking at a transcript refresh your memory?
If I said it, then sure. I don't have to look
Uh-uh.
at it. Thank you though.
Would you like to just look at it?
Okay.
I'm not trying to put words. I just
No,
want
I
you to
know.
look at it.
I know. It's 8 years ago.
All right, February 21, 2017 transcript, and it's lines 12 through
You know, latitudes.
page 77.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that fair then at that time? You
And by the way, girl, honey boo, you don't dress like that for court. That's inappropriate. Put a jacket on.
left to the garage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When the opening statement was a day and 2 quarters.
Now, did you also tell them that during that time when you're at the crime scene that, do you recall going and sitting in the garage?
That day?
Yes.
No.
Did you tell them that you went and sat in the garage and you saw some blood where the Porsche had been?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. Going back to the night, rewinding now, in 2016, what we were talking about before lunch, when you found Rob in your mom's bed, where was your dad during that time?
I don't know. On a business trip or working?
Okay, did you tell the police that he was on a business trip?
I don't know.
Would you like to refresh your memory of the
Sure.
transcript? All right.
Because I knew you were going there.
Or working.
And this is transcript from February 21st, 2017, page 81. And we have lines 15, sorry, line 15. All right. You can just review this ahead and part to yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so the time that you found Rob in your mom's bed, your dad was on a business trip.
Yes.
Now, did you tell anyone about what you'd seen as far as robbing in your mom's bed besides your mom?
My friends.
Okay, did you tell Deborah Obad?
I don't remember.
Obad, I'm saying it wrong.
I don't remember.
Did you tell your dad?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know. I probably forgot about it.
Did your mom tell you not to tell your dad?
Not that I remember.
So as far as Rob Baker, then let's talk about what happened then after your dad was killed. Did you start seeing Rob Baker more frequently?
Yes.
And can you explain what kind of occurred after your dad was killed as far as Rob Baker being in the picture?
Yes. I went to a Denny's that was on Winnetka and Ventura with my sister and my cousin. And we asked for a table of 3 and we got sat down next to him, which I thought was a coincidence. And that same trip that my cousin was here, I got a flat tire and my sister was in the car behind me and we pulled into the median. And then I noticed, like, not even a minute or two later, I saw Rob's car and Rob in his car pass by and he made a U-turn. And then he was going to help me with my car.
Okay. And you said, I thought that was weird. So
Yeah.
You thought these things were weird with Rob.
Yes.
Now, you didn't tell the police any of this, any issue about Rob, right? You never told them any of this.
I don't.
One moment. So, sorry, you never told the police any of this back then, and anything about this
Crap.
weirdness, Rob and Denny's and
Horrible,
flat tire,
y'all.
you never told them any of that.
It's overruled on that grounds, but you're not asking a question, counsel.
Did you ever tell them anything that you're saying in court right now to the police?
I don't know. In hindsight, after the fact it was weird, but I don't know if in the moment I said anything.
Okay, so hindsight when you talked to the defense team?
No, hindsight, like after being talked to by the detectives and stuff, I was like thinking that it's weird. I don't know if I said anything to the detectives because they might have not even asked me about it.
Okay, but you talked about Rob with the detectives.
Yes.
And in June 14th, you talked to the detectives a lot about Rob, in depth about how much you liked him, right?
Yeah, because I did like him at one point.
Okay, you called him a close family friend.
Yes.
You said you knew him really well. Right?
Yes.
Okay, you said he's been really nice to you since this happened.
Yes.
Okay. You also responded that he was a really good friend and he was your mom's racquetball coach, right?
Yes.
Did you tell him that he'd come over all the time? He'd come over for dinner and stuff?
I don't remember him coming over for dinner.
Would you like to look at a transcript to refresh your recollection? Sure. And the question actually is, did you tell the detectives that?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'll show you a transcript. And this is the June 14th, 2017 transcript.
Not when you were money hungry. Okay, let's take a quick pause. This is how money hungry this woman is. So when she unalived, had her husband unalived, the company that he worked for, which he was getting a 6-figure digit a year, okay, income, created a new policy so they could pay her for 6 months of this guy's salary and keep the health insurance going for 6 months. 6 months. Okay, even if he heard $100,000, that's 50 grand plus the insurance benefits for her and the children. She's also was getting the Social Security income for the children. She was also telling people that she didn't have any money, she was broke, and that she needed to get the insurance money. So what happened? She contacted everybody at the company that he worked for that she knew and was begging them to help her get the insurance company to release the $1.6 million life insurance policy, which she would have gotten little more than half for because he had children that he left portions of it to. And on top of that, she was telling everybody she didn't have money. She took his pickup to the dealership where they had bought it because it was a lease option and they had a few months left on it. And she told them the sad sub story that he was unalived in his pickup and she couldn't handle having it anymore. So they told her they would eat the cost of the last couple months of payment. She could turn it back in. Then she wanted to get a new car. Now, she didn't do it that day. She left. A month later, she comes back and is in wonderful moods, told them that she got the life insurance money and she's ready to get rid of the truck. He wasn't grieving. In fact, she got a Mustang GT red leather inside and paid over $6,000 of add-ons. She bought every upgrade and add-on you could for this vehicle. Then, on top of that, she contacted Fabio was a hairdresser who became very famous. And he worked with companies that produced hair products. And he would go and do event shows and conferences and training seminars on the product. I think it was Wella was the name of the company, based out of Canada. And then he turns around and calls the connection to Wella that she knows and asks them to help her book a trip to Las Vegas for her and her girls so she can, well, kind of let off some steam and get away. And she spent so much money, a ton of money on partying, having a good time, yada, 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 yada. So it was crazy. We do have also 2 new documents. Thank you very much. Hold on. That's my interpreter.
That was my interpreter. She's going to be sending me the link in a minute. We've got affidavits and stuff that we'll read at lunch break. Thank you so much. All of our court documents, I will say this real quick. I don't have a long time. I'm going to just do this real quick. Thank you so much, As the Gavel Drops, for supporting us and all the court document needs for us to cover during our lives. Go to As the Gavel Drops in Discord, register, validate your account, and you too can look at all these documents. So I'm kind of giving you a rundown. Monica was blowing money left and right. She doesn't look like she did back then. Some of the witnesses couldn't even identify her. Couldn't identify her because she didn't look the same. So that's a quick rundown. This is a money-hungry, sex addict biatch. Yeah, they did. That they did.
Is this the right one?
Yeah. Does that refresh your memory?
I mean, yeah, I just read this one. Yeah.
Does that refresh your memory?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you tell the detectives that he came over?
So I can read them to
Yes.
you
Okay.
during the
So you like him?
break.
Yes.
And did you tell the detectives that he fixed your car for you?
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, my car broke down. I don't know what the issue was, and he said he had a good mechanic, so he took it to his mechanic.
And did he come and pick you up and take you anywhere, anything like that?
I don't remember.
Did he bring over cars to show you?
He had a cool car. I don't remember what it was, but I remember that was his car, so he just showed me because I like cars, and at that time I really liked cars.
Did you tell the detectives that he had like 4 of them and he'd bring them over to you?
Yes.
Okay. And what were those for? What did he do?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You know, I have a recording and a accompanied transcript. Do you know when you talk to the detectives that your interview, and just this portion, that your interview with the detectives was recorded?
No, I never knew any of my interviews ever were recorded.
Okay. If I may mark as People's 230, it's a short. Okay.
Welcome, lady. Did you ever sort out your coffee thing? Did
Nope.
you create a new account? Okay. As soon as you let me know, we'll put it up.
Can do
All right.
that.
This is a Sementilli where he paid someone to unalive her husband. This is her daughter on the stand. And it's quiet for a reason. Sidebar.
All right.
I hope so, Donna.
You didn't know you're being recorded?
Right.
Okay, they didn't tell you you're being recorded. Have you listened to any of those recordings?
Oh,
Now, did you also tell the detectives that he comes a lot and just wants to make sure we're safe and stuff?
Yes.
The day of June 14th, you remember that day?
No.
What was that day your mom was arrested?
Oh, then yes.
2017.
Yeah.
That day then, had your mom been on a trip before that?
I think so.
To Toronto or
Yes.
New York to
Yeah,
Toronto?
yeah.
When she got home then, was there something going on where Rob had her car?
Not that I recall.
Do you want to look at a transcript?
Sure.
Okay. I know it's been a long time. You haven't had a chance to review this, right?
No, I have. A few. I have.
You have reviewed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only once though. I don't like reading it.
Okay, that's fine. And it's again June 14th, 2017, page 30. And if you can just start page 8, just to refresh your memory.
You guys, this case has more twists and turns. Oh, you missed the fun one, Diane. They talked about male personal fluid that was confined in a toothpaste tube. And they talked about all the intimate details of that. I'm glad you didn't
Did Rob have your mom's car?
Yes.
Okay, and why did he have her car? Do you know?
I think he was taking it also to the mechanic.
Okay, so he helped you out with getting the car fixed and things of that nature.
Yes.
And then the detectives asked you for Rob's cell phone, right? Is that a yes?
Yes.
And you had his cell phone number in your phone?
I don't remember. I think I did.
Yeah, I'm going to come back right now. All right. Would refreshing your memory help?
Yes, he had my number.
All right. But you don't remember what that number is?
Yeah,
Off the top of your
I
head,
don't know
sure.
his number.
All right. If I could approach. And this is page 32, June 14th. All right.
Amen, Yana.
All right. Is that
This
refreshing
girl
your
is
memory?
getting done.
This
When
number
she
that
has
you
to
gave the
understand,
police
she was
is
all excited. Now she's kind of like, I'm ready to get this crap over.
That's the number you have for Rob as of June 14th,
I'm going to switch search.
2017, correct?
Yes.
All right. Did you communicate with Rob then yourself? Like, did you text him or call him or anything of that nature?
Not really, but maybe sometimes like, hey, I'm coming to the gym today. Can you save me this workout machine? If I texted him.
So during that time frame, then you talked about hindsight, but during this whole time frame of from when your dad, well, let's talk about back in 2016 until after your mom was arrested,
Mhm.
you didn't have any problem with Rob Baker. You liked him.
Yes.
And you considered him a close family friend.
Yes.
And then at some point you changed your mind.
Yes.
And that's after you met with the defense attorneys, correct?
No, that was the day my mom was arrested.
Okay, well, this is on the day that you're arrested is the day that you're talking to the police.
But I don't know if she's arrested at that point.
Okay. You knew she was arrested the next day.
No, that later at that transcript, they say that they tell me that she's arrested. I had no idea for an hour.
And let's go through that. So on the day of your mom's arrest, the police came over to your house, right?
Yes.
And then what did they tell you they were there for?
Just to look at the, like, take more stuff for the knock burglar thing they were telling me about. So looking through the house again and taking some of our electronics and stuff.
So did they recover then or take some of your computers?
Yes.
Not your, well, maybe yours and your
Yes.
mom's computers, phones, things of that nature?
Yes.
Or electronics? Okay. And then at some point during that interview, they ultimately ended up telling you that your mom was arrested. Is that right?
Yes.
Did they also tell you Rob was arrested?
Yes.
All right. And then who came, was anyone with you then for support after this happened?
Yes. I called Deb to come over.
All right.
And then the next day, my aunt and my grandmother came.
So Deborah Obad came over.
Yes.
And then your aunt, what's her name?
Anna.
And is that your mom's sister?
My mom's older sister.
And then who else came?
My grandmother.
And they flew in from
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. And then they stayed with you.
Yes.
Now, did you get then, so you've been interviewed now, you've been interviewed the day it happened on January 23rd, 2017. And then they interviewed you again, which you've refreshed your memory, February. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
For her. And then in June, we just went through this interview and some of it centered on Rob Baker, correct?
Yes.
But at this point, you didn't know that he'd been arrested.
Correct.
And then they told you after this interview. Is that right?
After the interview, yes.
About when you talked about Rob and how much you
Right
liked
after
him,
that.
you didn't know he was arrested yet.
Correct.
And then you found out he was arrested.
Correct.
And then you found out your mom was arrested.
Yes.
Is that right? And the police called you the next day. Do you remember that phone call?
No.
Would you like to look at a transcript? Just it's very short, just
Yes.
to refresh your memory. And this is the June 15th, 2017 transcript. You can just kind of look at the first couple pages.
Okay, Diane, I'll interpret witness, you interpret lawyer. That help out? Okay, guys, you're going to see how we do things here. If you're new to our channel, and we do interpreting when we have a deaf person, and we very may be. I've texted them to see if they were watching, so we're going to go ahead and start interpreting. Yana, you got this?
I like your bangs.
I just told you
Thank you.
to refresh your memory if they called
I do have a guest that will be here sometime between now and 2, but that's okay. I'm not leaving you. I'll just be here. You just will see me talking and won't hear me.
I'm not sure, but I think a ghost could be in Wisconsin.
Huh? Say that out loud.
I think a ghost going to be in Wisconsin.
Is that refresh your
Yes.
memory then?
Mm.
Okay, and why did the detectives, what did they ask you the day after the murder? I'm sorry, not the day after the murder. The day after the arrest on June 15th. What did they call and ask you questions about?
About what I did that day.
The day of the murder?
Yeah.
And they asked you if you or your mom played racquetball, and like you
Yes.
testified, you said no.
Yes.
Right? And they asked if anything unusual happened that morning, you said no.
Right.
And they also asked you if Rob was at the gym that you saw him that morning, you said no, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, after this, you found out that your mom and Rob were both arrested. And after this phone call with the police, when you interviewed them, did you ever do an interview with the police again?
I don't remember. Not that I remember.
Okay. But you did interview multiple times with the defense attorneys, right?
With their private investigator.
And some of the attorneys, right?
Correct.
Okay. So on August 29th, 2.5 months after your mother's arrest, you went to the law offices of the defense attorneys and you interviewed with their private investigator?
Yes.
And that was Adam Dawson?
Yes.
So they asked you a lot of questions?
Yes.
And then on October 15 of 2021, you went there again, right, to their
Yes.
office? And you interviewed with Mr. Levine, who's in court, and his investigator, correct?
Yes.
And they asked you questions again about those days?
Yes.
And then in January 6th of 2022, you went to the law offices again and interviewed with Mr. Levine and Mr. Babbage and their investigator, right?
Yes.
And you answered, again, questions that they asked you.
Yes.
Do you know if that interview was recorded?
No.
You don't know, or it was not?
I didn't know.
Did you ever see a transcript of that interview provided to you?
Not a transcript, but like a typed up thing.
A typed up report?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear an audio of your interview?
No.
And during, did you ever interview with them again at any other time?
I've met with Mr. Levine many times, you know, for updates on the case, to speak with Adam. But yeah.
And you said you met with him many times. Where did you meet?
At his office, or he would come to our house.
Okay, so both places?
Yeah.
And that was over the course of
8 years.
8 years you've met with him many times?
Yes.
Just to go over the case and what happened?
Yes.
And then you said Adam. Who is Adam?
Dawson.
Okay. Is that the private investigator that works for the firm?
Yes.
For Mr. Levine?
Yes.
And then each time you meet with them, do they ask you questions about the case and go back through the facts?
Yes, and you know, me asking questions about the case.
Okay. And you provide them any information you remember?
Yeah.
Do you know if any of those conversations ever were recorded?
Not to my knowledge.
And you were never provided any, other than these 3 reports, were you ever
Correct.
provided any more than 3 reports to review over all those many conversations?
No, just those 3.
Okay. One moment.
Thank you, everybody, so much for sticking with us and joining us. And we thank you for all the raters and all of the super chats. And Yana, thank you so much, and Toxic, for modding this today. We greatly appreciate you. Miss Diane, thank you for hopping in and interpreting. Let's go, Brandon. You've been very generous. Thank you so much.
One thing I meant to ask you, when after all this happened, you said you stayed at Deborah Obad's for a while, or a couple of days, I think you said. Then where did you live?
We went back to the house.
Okay. So you were back in the house with your sister Isabella?
Yes.
And now, after your mom got arrested, where did you live?
At the house.
And who stayed there with you?
My aunt and my grandmother.
And that's Anna, again, your mom's
Yes.
sister?
Yes.
And how long did they stay with you?
They stayed with us on and off for like 3 years.
I mean, you're over 18, so you were fine in the house?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, you sold the house and you moved out, correct?
Correct.
Not you, but the house was sold.
Yes. Correct.
You and your sister moved out. Is that right?
Yes.
And that was in 2000, was it 17?
18.
18. And where did you move?
To the Avalon Apartments in Woodland Hills.
And was those apartments the ones owned by Deborah Obad?
She doesn't own apartments.
Did she ever rent you apartments or a place to stay?
I can't.
Yes, I just moved out of that house.
Okay. So how long did you live in Deborah's rental?
I think 3 years.
I need you to sign.
So
all of this.
you remain good friends with
Like
Deborah
that.
Obad?
Yes.
I'll be
She's
back.
been a good family friend to you
Yes.
and your sister?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Tough topic, but up until your mom's arrest, tough topic. Did you ever know that she was having an affair with Robert Baker?
No, not until her arrest.
When she went to Vegas, Myrtle Beach, those places, did you know that she was going with a male or a boyfriend or anything of that nature?
No.
Unusually.
Kidding. I'm going to go through.
Sorry about that, Callie. Come on back. If you stay right about here, you won't be on camera. Back up here, fine. I have to lip read. I don't.
A series
Yeah,
of
yeah,
text
yeah.
messages.
So,
And it is 18
we got
pages. I'm not
a
gonna
woman who
read every single page.
was a very
18
comfortable one and
pages,
decided
text
she wanted more.
messages,
So
between Jessica and the defendant.
it should be.
2:30.
Oh, 2:30.
You can't make this up.
All right, I'm just going to go through a few of these. Putting on page 1. All right. First of all, let's talk about.
How long have you been in Kerrville?
February 8th, 2017. Starting from the time frame, did you text message your mom basically at the number associated here, your mom's number 818
Dr. Woodaway.
424 4213, and your number being 818.
Okay, good. Hold on. Hey guys, I got some guests here. Diane, thank you so much. Hey, Minnie Mouse.
And
In.
so Fairly, you had text messages spanning with your mom.
Hey, Diane, you got this?
between,
Thank you very
June
much.
9th of 2017 through February 8th of 2017.
Yes.
And that's when you're texting on Friday. This text up here, starting with June 8th, 2017. This is 2 weeks after this happened.
You see, hear what?
Your mom's telling you under no circumstances answer the phone, or if anyone texts asking if we're okay, you say I'm asleep. Nobody. Okay, got it. I'm sorry, is this upsetting you? I'm sorry.
No.
I know. We'll go through this.
I'm
I'll
just
go
waiting
through
for the
this.
question.
I'll go through this. Okay.
Objection, Your Honor. The comments are inappropriate.
It is.
I'm sorry. I apologize. This message, was your mom telling you not to talk to people?
Not to tell anyone our business, essentially.
Okay. Anything more that she was telling you about?
No.
Did she, well, let me move on. Okay. So now as we're going through the text, page 2, and I'm not going to go through them all, but page 2, is there many times, is it fair to say during that time frame between June 9th of 2017 and February 8th of 2017, I'm sorry. February 9th of 2017 and June 9th of 2017, I keep misspeaking, that you were often texting your mom asking where she was late at night.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you concerned about your mom, or were you concerned about you?
Concerned about my mom.
All right. Was that unusual from what happened before the murder for your mom being out late at night like that?
Yes, but I believe that was how she was grieving, because I was out every night as well.
Okay. Your sister? No, right? Page 2 up on the screen. Your mom texted, if anyone calls or texts, don't say you have a friend there. Either don't answer or say you're just hanging out. Nobody's business. Let me move up a little bit. And was this along the lines of what you testified to? This is February 19th, like don't tell anyone anything?
Yes, because everyone's calling us every day, asking questions, wanting to know things.
And what kind of questions were you told not to answer?
Nothing, just what it says here.
Okay. But what were you told not to talk about or not to answer by your mom?
About what
Objection asked and answered.
about like what the detectives are asking or saying and stuff, because everyone keeps bothering us when we're grieving, and so my mom's telling us not to talk to anyone.
All right. And then starting in February 20th of 2017, we're about 3 weeks or 4 weeks after your dad's murder. There's some text messages about when are you coming home, right?
Mhm.
And your mom answered, and this is about a little bit after midnight, answers late.
Mhm.
Is that a
Yes,
yes?
yes.
And then again, the following night, and this is the back of page 2, when are you coming home? And your mom answers, you, my mother.
Yeah.
Right? And then she tells you she's at a comedy club and you say, no, I'm a concerned daughter.
Yeah.
What were you worried about?
That's just making sure she's okay.
And then the back of page 4, again, we moved to February 25th, a few days later. Again at night, around 11:18 at night, you asked your mom, when are you going to be home? Late, and you're asking her, and she says, yes, be smart, close gates.
Yes.
Is it fair to say she was going out pretty often?
Yes.
Back of page 5, again, now we move to March 4th. You're asking her again, are you going to be home late? And she's responding, you, my mother.
Yes.
Now, were you and your mom getting along at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're literally joking there.
All right. And page 6, you said, I just want to know. And your mom wrote late with exclamation points. Right?
Yes.
All right. And then we went through some texts with your sister, but on March 5th, 2017, you're texting your mom again at 10:30 at night. And talking about Isabella, you handling Isabella at that point?
I felt as being like the mediator between my mother and my sister.
Were they not getting along?
They were getting along, but Isabella's at that age was very sensitive, and everything we were doing she had something to say about, so I was trying to mediate between both of them. So don't worry about Bella saying that to mom.
Well, you said that Bella was scared to be in the house.
Yeah.
Did you ever tell your mom, like, hey, stay home with her?
Yeah.
And what'd your mom say?
She'd stay home.
Okay, but she went out a lot too.
Yes.
Okay. Back of page 7. Again, now we've moved to March 18th, 2017. Are you going to be home late or like kind of late? And your mom says, don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yep.
So it's fair that you didn't always know where your mom was.
Correct.
And then March 30th, a few days later, again, when are you coming home? And your mom responds, why, you a cop?
Yes.
So is it fair that most of the time you didn't know where your mom was?
Correct.
Then on March 31st, there's a text message again. You're asking your mom where she is. And she says, too many teenagers here. I'm asleep at Sheila's. She lives here in Woodland Hills. I'm already in my PJs, gonna leave soon. What time you done? Do you know if your mom slept at Sheila's?
I don't know.
Did she come home that night? Do you remember?
No.
And then again in March or April 21.
I'll allow this.
April 21, 2017, you're asking your mom, where are you? And this is, again, 7:15 at night, and she says, Melrose, gonna have dinner, then karaoke. Is that something that you knew your mom would do, karaoke?
No.
Did she tell you she was going to karaoke a lot?
Yes, as we just saw right there.
All right. And then it follows into the next when your mom asks you why. And you said, I'm just asking you, the police.
Yes.
Okay. And this is again in March, April 25th, 2017. And then she says, no, I'm the mother, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Were you frustrated with your mom at all for not being home?
No.
And then on May 3rd, 2017, do you remember her sending you a photo of belly dancing?
No. I see it here. I don't know.
I know, it's a hard picture to see. Do you remember her being in Las Vegas, going to Las Vegas in May?
Yes.
Did she tell you about a party she went to where there was belly dancing? It was someone's birthday.
Yes, I believe so.
Do you know whose birthday it was?
No.
Did you know her to be with Rob Baker at that time?
No.
And then again, it continues back into page 15. We're in May 5th. I'm sorry. June 3rd of 2017. It continues. Are you coming home? This is around 2 a.m. And she said, on my way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I know, we're going through a lot. I'm almost done. And basically, those series of texts were somewhat frequent.
Yeah.
All right. Leading up to the right before the arrest, there's a conversation that you have about your car, correct? Where's your car? This is June 9th of 2017. Is that right?
Yes.
Is this when your mom went to Toronto then and you were home?
I don't remember.
She'd flown to Toronto, correct, for
Yes.
a ward.
Yes.
And then she came back right before she was arrested, right?
Yes.
So when she left, her car wasn't at your house?
I guess not.
And did she tell you, is that what you asked her, does Rob have it?
Yes.
And she says, yes, it's at the shop.
Yes.
I told you, and then I'm on a flight, or I'm in flight, right?
Yes.
Okay. So is that when Rob was taking care of her car at the mechanic shop?
Yes.
1 second.
Oh, oh my God. Thank you again. Oh my God. Oh,
Right?
Yes.
And we are now in 2025.
Yes.
Just a minute.
You've done a lot of things since then, haven't you?
Yeah.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing great now.
And what are you doing?
I have a great job. I live with my boyfriend. I have amazing friends.
Hold on.
Yellow bad. I love it. Okay, guys, I'm back into timing.
So you're doing a lot better than you were back in 2017 when your dad died.
Yes.
Let's get one thing straight. What have I told you about testifying in court?
To tell the truth.
Have I ever told you to lie?
No.
Have I or Mr. Dawson or any of the defense team ever told you what to say?
Never.
So over those 8 years, on 3 occasions, we sat down and asked you if you could remember what happened regarding the murder of your father.
Yes.
Correct? And the first date was shortly after the arrest and prosecution began, right?
Correct.
And then the case started lasting far longer than anybody thought,
Correct.
with COVID in the middle.
Yes.
So after a year or two, we came back and asked you if you remembered anything differently than you stated before, or if you still remembered what was there, and you remembered some new things and other things you did not, correct?
Correct.
Did you always answer truthfully?
Yes.
did we always show you the report that Mr. Dawson prepared and asked you if it was accurate and correct?
Yes.
And was it?
Yes.
And if it wasn't, did you tell us to change it?
Yes.
And you've testified here today to a lot of things you said happened and a lot of things you said did not happen, correct?
Correct.
Have you done your best to tell the truth about everything?
Yes.
Okay. Now, before January 23rd, 2017, before your father's murder, can you describe how your father and mother, how the marriage was?
I tell this to everyone. My mother and father were the epitome of what a loving marriage was, and what I strive to look for in a partner. And they're the best parents.
And husband and wife?
Yes.
Did you ever notice anything that caused you to believe that either one of them wasn't in love with the other one?
Never.
And how were they as parents?
They were great parents, both of them.
Specifically, Monica, how was she?
Mom was an amazing parent. Dad was away a lot, so mom was the one who was always there for us, taking us places, helping us with homework, there for us emotionally more than my dad was. I love my dad, but he was gone all the time.
Okay. Now, I take it you had no idea until June 14, 2017, that your mom was having an affair with Robert Baker. Is that
Correct.
right? Up until then, you thought he was just someone she played racquetball with, and it'd be
Okay, Yana, I don't know what's going on. Something about crystal clear and pixelated.
become
I
kind
have-
of a friend, correct?
I have my computer separate with a live feed, and it is crystal clear. So I don't know what's going on. Anybody else having problems, let me know.
Correct.
And in fact, he was around you a lot, you realize now.
Yes.
He showed up at a lunch one time. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Took care of your car and your mom's car a couple of times.
Yes.
Did he appear to have some knowledge about cars
Yes.
and some mechanics that he worked with?
Yes.
At that time, did you think anything suspicious about your mom's relationship with him?
No.
When she said she was going to trips to Las Vegas or Myrtle Beach, I assume she didn't say she was going with Robert Baker.
Correct.
You thought she was going with friends of hers.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
Now let's talk about interviews with the police, first of all.
Do you know what? It went pixelated on my end now. So that's them. It's not me. It's on them. Yep. Let me refresh. Hold on. Because I am not far behind, so I'm refreshing the court feed. There we go.
In finding out who did this.
Objection relevance.
Sustained.
Did your mom express concern or frustration with the pace of the investigation?
Yes.
Did she ever talk to you about insurance?
No.
Did she ever express to you concern about insurance?
No.
In fact, you were one of the named beneficiaries, right?
Correct.
And when did you eventually get your share of the life insurance proceeds?
After my mother was arrested.
And what did you use them for?
To pay rent and bills.
Let me bring you back to the date of your mom's arrest. Before I do that, we were talking about the relationship between your mom and dad and the relationship you all had together. Did you give us a couple of photographs portraying the type of relationship your mom and dad had?
Yes.
Can we show those, please, Your Honor?
How many we talking about?
Your Honor, two.
Real quick. She, her sister, her brother got almost little less than half of the life insurance. The mother got the rest of it. If she was not arrested and accused. Now, if she's acquitted, she will get her portion of that life insurance. If she's not acquitted, it will go and be divided equally between the children. There you go. That's that expression. And again, everybody, thank you so much for the super chats. Y'all just, you're making me cry.
Let me see your cell phone.
I don't know why their feed is struggling. Okay.
Sidebar.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to go get something. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll take you off. Okay, guys. I appreciate Diane so much. She has been sick with bronchitis and she got what we thought got well. We'll see, from the middle of November all the way through about a couple of weeks ago, she's been sick. Now she got bronchitis relapse. So that's why you haven't seen her. And she works another job. So I'm just so grateful for her and everything she does for us. And so I will be sharing some of these super chats with her as well. So thank you so much. If you want anything to donate to her for her time, because she doesn't charge us, just do me a favor, put it for Diane and she will get it. I'll make sure she gets it. Because she is fabulous and this is very, very difficult to do. But I have I appreciate we had someone that had to come by, hopefully a sponsor. And I had to meet them. So thank you for your understanding. Right now, I want to thank Let's Go Brandon for all the fabulous super chats. You are amazing. So are you when it comes. Come on. Why is it not met? It's freezing. There we go. When you come at the king, you best not miss. Thank you so much for your super chat. Making law simple. Thank you for your super chat. Things are going wiggy over here. Nailing maps to the wall since 1969. Thank you. Ignoring my vices. Vices. Yes, thank you. Again, thank you. Let's go, Brandon. And June, thank you for your gifted memberships. You guys are amazing, and I greatly appreciate you. I know, Sensei. We'll potty you in a minute. My little girl's like, time to go potty. We'll get her in a minute. What are y'all thinking about this trial? There we go. I didn't expect her to be on here for so long. Let's see. Oh, he's getting some good. So some of you don't know me very well. I appreciate you hopping in here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Ada K. I am a deaf courtroom commentator. I have special hearing aids.
I'm going to have to confer further. We can go outside, or you can.
Oh,
my courtroom.
We got a 5-minute break.
So we're going to take a 5-minute recess. You can go outside.
Okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, Mr.
We'll
Stoll.
take it. I need to come
Seems
back.
like you're about 5.
I gotta find it. Where is it? I want to find out what they gave that old lady who unalived her husband. Yeah, it was sad. Unalived her husband in a hospital. They were married. He was dying. He was suffering, and she decided the best thing to do would be to unalive him for his wishes. Huh?
I said, did she pull his plug?
No, she shot him.
In the hospital? That was noisy. Well, how old was he?
They were old, and
for waiving the minimum mandatory and to capping the sentence. We're very grateful for the state attorney's office for doing that. But we don't believe that additional incarceration is necessary to protect the community, which is one of the purposes, obviously, of the Florida Sentencing statutes. Given her history of being a law-abiding citizen, given the circumstances of the incident, we'd ask the court to impose a probationary sentence with credit for time served. I think she has 40-something days.
42.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Hamlin, could you a sentencing guideline worksheet with you?
I do, Your Honor. We provide a copy to the defense.
And I think it had been reviewed and was sent in for information.
My daughter.
Last break, that we took review the additional materials that the defense submitted with the
Can't hear ya.
additional letter were attached.
Thank you, Judge.
So what happened is, she's at the house putting some laundry in, typical coming home from college, put the laundry in. And she said, "You have something in the attic." What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why it's not in love. Anyway, let's.
So, and I just want to take this opportunity to remind everyone as well that no emotional expressions will be tolerated to be removed from the program if that does happen. So to kind of reiterate, Ms. Gillen, you're here on the counts that your attorney stated. You've got the one count of assisting self-murder or manslaughter, 2 counts of aggravated assault with firearm. Those referred to Mr. Jackson, the security officer, and Mr. Aponte, both of whom testified here today. And roughly 8 months, the state, as you know, has agreed to waive the minimum guidelines and agreed to cap your punishment at 10 years prison. And I first want to talk about some of the testimony that I've heard today. And Ms. Gillen, I accept your testimony today that you've given with respect to the fact that Jerry was suicidal. I know there's no records that document that, but I accept what you stated, that he told you and continued to express that he was suicidal. I think that makes sense, that a husband would confide in his wife of 53 years with respect to his serious emotional condition. I accept your testimony, ma'am, that his condition was worsening. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay. I accept your testimony that you and Jerry jointly decided to commit suicide, that you believe that was the only way. I do not remember with respect to what hospital procedure is, but I think it's highly likely that that either didn't happen or that you don't remember it. Also, I accept Dr. Danziger's testimony that you continue to not be a risk of danger to the community and that you were suffering from some sort of mental health episode on the date of the incident. I want to point out that as everybody knows, this is not just a case about you and your terminally ill or very ill husband, because we've heard from the fact from the testimony today that there are many other victims in this case. And by entering your plea, you've admitted to having pointed a firearm at 2 hospital employees, disrupted, not to mention putting them in fear for their lives and perhaps their family as well. And then I don't even know how many hospital employees and their family members were impacted by the decision that you made. And it has come out today that you're educated, you have a master's degree. Some of these letters describe you as smart and patient and kind and generous and thoughtful, but your actions on that date were none of those things. And your attorneys identified in the sentencing memo a few other similar cases where an elderly defendant had killed different to me. A lot of the letters that were sent in and even some of the testimony today talked about aid in dying laws and how Florida should have such a law. This is not the proper venue to make that argument. I am not a lawmaker. That is not my focus. That's an argument that needs to go to the Florida legislature and them only. Now, that's not to say that I'm unsympathetic to you, ma'am, because I can't fathom the difficulty of watching your husband's medical condition deteriorate to the point that he was in that constant kind of pain and wishing that he were dead. I can't understand that. I can't begin to understand how difficult it would have been for you to actually pull the trigger to assist your husband in ending his own life. I do believe that that is what you did. And so the punishment that I'm going to impose in this case is related to the other charges against you primarily. I've heard from the victims today, and I am highly persuaded by that testimony about the trauma that was inflicted on them. So, ma'am, I am going to adjudicate you guilty. You will be a convicted felon as a result of this incident. I'm going to sentence you to 300 victims and the 6 law enforcement victims that were identified in the indictment. And then this is an important part of the sentence as well. I want you to perform a minimal amount of community service hours per month for as long as you're physically able to do that. I want you to do 8 community service hours a month, so that's maybe 2 a week. And I don't care what you do, but I want you to realize, ma'am, that
So basically, she's going to have to serve literally.
still continues to have value, and you can.
She's going to say, you're going to do what? I hear you.
Oh, they're being so kind and gentle to her, though. Okay, guys, we're going to do something. Nobody go anywhere. I'm going to do a reset. Everybody, Diane, stay. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be good.
Because I was worried about there we go. I was worried about the video and I'm going to do a quick reset to get up. Okay, let's see if the other crowd is back.
What did they tell her she had to do?
A year of jail minus the 40 days and some good time for her. She'll be out probably about 8 to 10 months.
So she'll be in jail?
12 years of probation.
8 hours a week
of good behavior of 8 hours a week of community service for a certain period of time, and then she has to write letters of apology.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the computer. All right, she has papers with contacts and things on it. I think that's her ID. There's certain things that she wants to take with her. Can't hear when you talk on the video. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry. My apologies. Now boost me a little more, bring them down a little more. Sorry, Minnie Mouse. What happened?
I do.
Oh, she's sitting in a wheelchair. They're going to take her out in a wheelchair. They're being so kind to her.
So will she be in jail or will she
That's
be in
him.
her home?
Huh?
Will she be in a jail cell or will she be in her home?
Jail for a year.
Oh, that's sad.
But she will probably be in a situation to where she's going to be okay. She'll be okay. She could have gotten life.
Oh, yeah, she could have.
Now we're back on, Miss Diane.
Okay, dokie, karaoke.
No.
Pat, something's going on with the internet again.
A and B.
Jessica's video. Can you put it in context that where and when that was taken?
Yeah, we're in the kitchen.
Good now.
And my grandmother's visiting this trip. This is December.
She doesn't look like that anymore.
And the second video, Your Honor, may that be marked? Has that been marked already? Could you identify first what this is, Jessica, if you know, and when it was taken?
Yeah, this is my mom and dad dancing in the kitchen. And I'm not sure if this is also December 6th.
Thank you. Jessica, was this common place among you? Yeah. But first, I want to go to this last interview of yours. You cooperated every time with the police, did you not?
Yes.
And in fact, this last interview, some of the pages of which were used to refresh your memory, took place on June 14th, 2017.
Correct.
At 4:00 in the afternoon. Correct?
Correct.
And it took place.
Anna Larson wasn't there, it was on the phone, but yes, correct.
Okay. And the purpose of this interview was what you told.
And they had called out the day of the murder. It was weird. There was detectives all over the place, all over the house, and we were at the kitchen table.
Okay. But initially, they did not tell you anything about your mom or Mr.
No.
Baker being arrested, did they? Baker, you found the same thing they've been telling you for 4 months, correct?
Correct.
And then they continue to ask you.
That car wreck may have affected a part of the, it may have affected our ability. There's some work people over there, so stay with us and be patient. We're still here.
Questions, correct?
Correct.
And then do you remember how it was finally at the end of the 90 pages or so, they told you about your mother?
Yes.
How?
They just flat out said it. They said your mother is arrested. And
your response was, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. And following that, without going through it all, the rest had to do with where you were going to go, who was going to care for you and your sister, and all sorts of things that would obviously occur with your mom now in jail.
Correct.
Ada, I need to see my
Most
son.
part to find out what was going on with the
Yes.
case,
Yes.
when we were going to court,
Correct.
when the trial would be,
Yes.
how your mom was doing,
Correct.
all sorts of questions that had nothing to do with the facts of the case.
Correct.
Is it fair to say that the vast number of contacts during those 8 years was either how you were doing or how your mom was doing or scheduled?
Correct.
And you realize now, as the jury has found out, that the trial was continued numerous times, and we're now 8 years since the time of your mother's arrest.
Correct.
We're finally in trial. Is that right?
Yes.
During any of those times when you were interviewed about the facts of the case, did you ever lie or make something up?
Never.
Your family.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
After your dad was murdered and before your mom was arrested, what was your relationship and that of your sister and your mom with the Fabio's family?
Objection, speculation.
It's been brought out in the people's case in chief. It's overruled.
You can
was before the arrest, but after the death, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know when she got out.
The relationship was as it always had been, a normal family. They
know what? I don't know what's pissing me off.
You do not want to know what my daddy used to tell me.
Well, right now, I'm going to pause this. We'll go back a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at my CPU and it looks good. Okay, here we go.
California for the funerals, and when we would go there,
They
and
supported you?
yes, yeah,
Appeared to do whatever they could to help you and your mom get along and recover. Is that correct?
correct.
By the way, can you describe your mother's?
Yeah, to your whole other state of mind. And in the ensuing days, she's sad and carrying his sweater and crying.
Did she keep his sweater on the whole night?
She kept that sweater for like weeks.
And she wanted to sleep in their bed that night, correct?
Yeah.
But you were not allowed to do so?
Correct.
What about your sister, Bella, who had discovered the body? What was she like?
She.
Okay. Now, you had no idea that your mom and Mr. Baker were having an affair. Is that correct?
Correct.
But you did know she was going out and so forth, right?
Correct.
And what was your attitude again about her going out after your father's death?
I just thought that was how she was grieving because I was doing the same thing.
You were going out as well?
Yes.
Not to show any disrespect for your father?
No.
And did Bella react differently?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
Yes, she didn't want to be home alone. But we were out, so she would get mad at us. And now when I'm older, I was very, very rude to her at that. But I was 18, and I didn't want to be home. I wanted to be with my friends. And
was she going out as well?
Here and there she would, yeah. But most of the time she stayed home.
Okay, so you were shown a series of text messages today. Obviously, they accurately reflect the exchanges between you and your mom.
Yes.
And some involving Bella.
Yes.
Can you tell us what your attitude was at that time?
I was just trying to keep the peace between everybody.
Meaning you, Bella, and your mom?
Yeah.
And how were you trying to do that?
By making my sister feel heard in certain circumstances, or making my mom feel heard.
Guilty?
Huh? No, feel
1:30. The admin applies, not discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else who wants to discuss any opinions.
Okay, we're going to figure out what's going on because my computer shows everything is running fine. So I don't know why. Our internet is fine. The Wi-Fi is fine. I don't understand what's going on. So, yeah. I'm going to turn off that. I don't know what's going on, you guys, but thank you for holding in. Hello from Spain. Welcome, welcome. Miss Diane, if you want to hop off and come back in later, you may.
Okay. Try to get rid of this. I'm going to try to get rid of this headache before it goes migraine.
All right, go do that.
All right.
If you want to hop on, use the same code.
All right. I will talk to you later. I did my first PA school class today. My students are wonderful. And I found a wonderful website. I will tell you about it later.
Send it to me so I can physically look at it.
All right. I love you. Goodbye, everybody.
We will. Bye. I feel bad for her. She feels so awful. I'm so sorry, Miss Diane. I really, really am. So what's going to happen is I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close down this live and I'm going to start up an afternoon session. So we'll be back in an hour. 1:30 their time. That's 2:30. That's 3:30 to 4 our time, depending on when they come back. So love you guys. Thanks for joining. We will start back up. I'm going to go grab lunch and then we'll start back up. Maybe that will fix the connective issue. All right. Be blessed. Thank you, McGuet. Thank you for all my super chats. You're amazing. And my gifted memberships. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.